The following programs were originally aired live, long before the advent of high fidelity, and they were recorded using a variety of means, from direct recording onto early audio tape and glass records, to simply placing the microphone of a wire recorder in front of the speakers of a radio playing the program. I hope, however, that any variance in audio quality will not take away from your pleasure in listening to these, some of the all-time favorite shows.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Broadway's my beat. From Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world.
Broadway's My Beat, with Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
Broadway. On Christmas Eve, Broadway's natives dance their Christmas dance to the music of carols flowing out of tinseled loudspeakers. The kids mash their noses against plate glass, lick it, and watch the mechanical clown, the mechanized tour army, the tin man dancing a jig on a tin box, and their eyes are dark with desire and hunger. They make a wish on a neon star. That's how it is on Christmas Eve on Broadway. My beat. On the morning of the day before Christmas, creatures are stirring at police headquarters. There's the patter of tired feet and the sound of manly giggles as little gifts are hidden in desk drawers or poured into Dixie cups or slipped under the police blotter. And in my office, there's a kid I knew, name of Marty Wednick.
Danny, I don't like to disturb you at this unmentionable hour.
10 o'clock in the morning, unmentionable?
You kidding? Sleep has not yet fled from my starry eyes. What makes me bounce from my pillow at an hour which is for the squares is a problem.
What's your problem, Marty?
Am I or am I not the child president of your branch of the Police Athletic League?
You are?
So I promised my constituency of fellow former delinquents a Santa Claus for Christmas. That's the problem. When are you gonna give with a Santa Claus? Don't laugh, Danny. A former delinquent shouldn't be disillusioned. Could make him a neurotic. So I repeat, on behalf of my constituents, where is Santa Claus?
He'll be here in a minute, Marty. Sergeant Tartaglia... Oh, here he is. Come on in, Sergeant.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what
This
fun.
guy's a sergeant?
Huh?
Hey, Tartaglia, this is Marty Wednick. He wants Santa Claus.
Oh, he's coming, Danny, he's coming. Come on in, Sandy. Everybody, make way, everybody, for Santa Claus.
And what's your alias, name, little boy? Ho, ho, ha. Hey.
This guy's a Santa Claus.
Who's the kid? The punk, Danny. Who is he?
Marty Wednick, that's who I am. So you're Santa Claus, huh? Audition me something.
What? Why, you crummy
Take
little...
your hands off me, Santa Claus. Is this the Christmas spirit?
I'll give it to you in the mouth, fresh kid.
You and how many
Hey,
reindeer?
now, wait a minute, you two. Marty, this is Nick Norman.
Nick Norman, the ex-con?
How do you like this monster? For 15 years, I've been playing Santa Claus at Sing Sing with no complaints, mind you. The first day I am a free civilian playing me old part, the squirt gives me the hook. I resigned from Santa Claus. I didn't get treatment like this even from the guards.
Take it easy, Nick. Marty didn't mean it. Did you, Marty?
How was I to know that Santa Claus here was the world-famous light-fingered safecracker?
Ex-light-fingered, world-famous safecracker, you.
Well, does he meet with your approval, Marty?
Well, the costume is sloppy, the beard's moth-eaten, but yeah, he'll do.
Don't do me no favors, punk.
You want to know something, Nick?
What's something?
I like you. I think you are the best Santa Claus it has ever been my privilege to present to my constituents of the PAL. This is from the heart, Nick.
Oh, that's better. You gotta show respect for Santa Claus. What time's your party?
8 o'clock tonight. You'll be there?
I'll be there.
Well, so long, Danny, Sergeant, Santa Claus. See you at the party. Merry Christmas.
That's a good kid. Appreciates the finer things.
Feels good to be out, huh, Nick?
15 years is a long night without sleep, Danny. Yeah, feels good. And thanks for the job as Santa Claus. I would miss it after all these years.
The deal we made. That feels good, too, huh?
Oh, yeah, the deal. Sure, Danny. I'll keep my promise to you.
That's good. You won't forget what happened 15 years ago on Christmas Eve.
How can I forget? It was like today. I was all dressed up like Santa Claus. I had a few idle hours, and right in front of me there just happened to be an idle safe. So I cracked it. So I got caught.
Uh-huh. Now, what are you going to do now, between now and 8 o'clock, the time the party starts?
Walk the thoroughfares and wish everybody joyous tidings and pat kids on the head
And leave their mothers' purses alone.
Oh, Danny, how can you talk to Santa Claus that way? I promised you that...
Sure you did. Hey, Tartaglia.
Yeah, Danny.
Tag along with Santa Claus. Fresh air will do you both good.
Oh, gee, thanks, Danny, thanks. You know, the fresh air will do us both good.
Yeah, but hold his hand, Tartaglia, so he won't get lost. We don't want him to get lost, do we?
Oh, no, Danny.
No, because what's Christmas without Santa Claus? Have fun, boys. So everybody was happy, and that was good, because it was the season for it. Sergeant Tartaglia was happy because I had not only given him permission to leave the room, I'd told him to go out and take a walk with Santa Claus. And everyone knows that Santa Claus is always happy, even if once upon a time he had to spread his glad tidings around Sing Sing. I considered it a while, and then I decided to inhale the bloom of Christmas as it filtered through police headquarters. And it made me feel happy, too. It lasted for 2 inhales.
The sign on the door says Lieutenant Danny Clover. I don't believe in signs. What's your name?
What's yours?
I came prepared for a question like that. Here's my card.
Thanks. Simon Larrabee, real estate and rentals. You renting something, Mr. Larrabee?
That would give you the upper hand. 2 questions to my 1. And you haven't answered it yet.
Danny Clover, like the sign says. That's my name.
You're quite right. I am renting something.
Go ahead. Rent away. I like to watch.
I'm doing it now, just looking at you. I'm renting that property known as the Warehouse at 2290 East Grand Street.
Well, if it makes you happy... Wait a minute. That's our clubhouse. That's where the kids are having our Christmas party.
Are you?
What's the...
What else can it be? Where's the rent?
Rent for what?
Rent for that property known as the Warehouse at 2290 East Grand Street.
You mean it hasn't been paid? How much is it?
It's $62.50 a month. Oh, that includes utilities.
I'll pay it. The club's treasurer will reimburse me.
You don't understand, Mr. Clever. When I rent something, I get a year's rent in advance. That comes to $750. And I want it before there's any party there.
Are you kidding? Where are those kids going to get money like that?
Oh, well, I'll give you until 8 o'clock to get the money, and I'll just sit right here until then.
All right. Grab yourself a police gazette.
Never touch the stuff.
Suit yourself. Oh, excuse me, Simon. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, this is Patrolman Curcio.
Yeah, what is it? I can hardly hear you, Curcio.
Yeah, well, no wonder. Listen what I gotta talk through. Listen, Danny. Hey, you see what I mean?
Why the sirens? What's the trouble?
Sergeant Tartaglia is up a tree.
What?
Sergeant Tartaglia is in a tree on the Avenue 8 playground, Danny. He flipped his lid. He's telling anyone that'll listen that there ain't no Santa Claus. Hey, you better come on down, Danny.
When I got down to the Avenue A playground, it was having the Christmas party of its life. A 30-foot tree, complete with tinsel, candy canes, colored popcorn balls, firemen, and a scared sergeant policeman, forlorn and lost, pinned to its top branch. The fire department finally convinced Tartaglia that a ladder was a safe invention for getting down out of tall trees. At the bottom rung, he almost believed it. When his feet touched the ground, they gave him a blanket because he was suffering from shock. He was about to tell the newsreel boys his ordeal when I faced him.
Oh, Danny, I was about to tell the newsreel boys my ordeal.
Oh, just tell me first, Tartaglia, because I hardly ever get to the movies.
I'll be with you in just a minute, sir. Oh, Danny, it was awful. It was something awful.
I only ask this because there's so much about you I don't know, Tartaglia. Why do you climb trees?
Oh, I don't, Danny. The height scares me. When I was a child, a tree threw me on the ground.
Still, you climbed this tree. Why?
Oh, because I'm a policeman.
That makes sense. But how?
Well, sure it does, Danny. The kids see me, I am a policeman. They need to put a star on top of their Christmas tree. They ask me because I am a policeman and can do such things. I couldn't let the department down, Danny.
So you leave Nick Norman alone, all by himself, because you don't want to let the department down.
Oh, I knew you would say that. But I trusted Nick because he is Santa Claus. He told me I could trust him.
Sure you can, Tartaglia. But what happened to Santa Claus? He's not around.
That's right. There ain't no Santa Claus, like I've been saying.
They told me you were saying that. What happened to him, Tartaglia?
Well, Danny, whilst I was up in the tree pinning the star, below me I saw a big black bulletproof sedan.
What kind?
A big black bulletproof sedan.
Now I know. Then what happened?
Well, this big black bulletproof sedan stopped by Nick, our Santa Claus. 2 men got out, talked to him for a minute, then took him one by each arm, deposited him in the car, closed the door, and away they sped, careening on 2 wheels. I yelled to them to stop, Danny. But I guess they didn't hear me on account of the hustle and bustle.
Our Santa Claus, Tartaglia. Where is he? Where'd he go?
Well, if I was Santa Claus, I know where I'd go.
Not that it matters, but where?
Well, to my mother. On Christmas Eve, she deserves something like that.
I'm sure she does.
Well, we have you now, Sergeant Tartaglia.
Oh, make good in the newsreels, Tartaglia. This may be your big chance.
Yeah?
Are you Mrs. Norman?
Why?
I'm Danny Clover.
Yeah?
May I come in, Mrs. Norman?
Why?
I want to talk to you.
About what?
About Nick, about your son.
Come in.
Thanks.
In here, in the parlor. Sit down.
Thank you.
No, not on that seat, that one. What do you want to talk about Nick?
Do you know where he is?
No, you don't tell me no more. One day when he was 9 years old, Nick said to me, he said, Ma, don't ask me where I've been no more, 'cause I'll lie to you. That's what he said.
Then you don't know where he is.
Don't make me go through that again, Sonny. Say, who are you to ask me questions?
I told you I was...
Yeah, you did. You said you's Danny Clover. That don't mean nothing to me. Oh, you must be the guy come about,
I am. That's why I came.
Well, you tell me what you come here for.
For, you know, just as you said.
Oh, this I like. This lets me play cagey like in the old days. What are you talking about?
You know your son, Nick.
You gotta squirm more than that, kiddo. What about Nick?
We want him to be our Santa Claus.
Bingo.
That's good.
Oh, it must be a good feeling, a young man like you. Big, strong, looking for Santa Claus. Me? I just sat here in my rocking chair.
Mrs. Norman.
Thinking about the times we had, me and Big Ed, my husband. The time...
I have to go now, Mrs. Norman. Where's your son?
Oh, you made me go through it again. One day, when he was 9 years old, Nick said to me...
Yeah, oh, thanks,
Ma,
Mrs. Norman.
don't ask me where I've been.
Hi, Danny. Did you find Santa Claus?
No, Tartaglia. What are you doing about it?
Me? Nothing.
That's good. Anyone to see me?
Yeah, in your office. Hey, Danny, what are you angry at me for, huh, Danny?
Hey, Danny, what's this I hear about Santa Claus taking a powder?
You'll get your Santa Claus, Marty. You still here, Simon Larrabee?
Yes, I'm waiting. Just as I told you, I'm waiting for my $750 rent.
Can you imagine this gone up, Danny? On Christmas Eve, he wants his rent. This is a Christmas, no Santa Claus, no party. What am I going to tell my constituents?
It'll work out, Marty. We'll get the money someplace.
By 8 o'clock, Mr.
Oh,
Clover.
shut up, Simon.
But, Danny, no Santa Claus.
Hold it, everybody. I got the solution. Communications, this is Sergeant Tartaglia in Danny Clover's office. An all-points bulletin. Pick-up man. Description as follows. Height, 5 feet 11. Weight, 235. When last seen was wearing a red suit, a red hat with bells, and black boots. Identifying marks. Has a long snow-white beard. What's his name? Santa Claus!
You are listening to Broadway's My Beat, starring Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover. $51,000 in cash and wonderful prizes. Danny Seymour might play Santa Claus to you tonight, and he might fill up your stockings with that $51,000 if you can identify the phantom voice. Listen in just a little later tonight to Sing It Again.
Broadway brings you Christmas in a lot of ways. You get dribbled around by the opposing teams of last-minute shoppers. You ride backwards on up escalators so you can be in a good position for the down escalators. You get mauled and shoved and picked over, and finally you get gift-wrapped and sent on your way. My way was out to lunch and back to police headquarters, holding my Christmas stocking in my hand. I had two things, no rent and no Santa Claus. Two nothings which made for an empty holiday. Sergeant Tartaglia wasn't enjoying himself either, and he expressed himself with sentiment.
Ah, humbug.
What did you say, Tartaglia?
Bah, humbug, Danny. That's a Christmas expression I picked up to be used when you wished it was the 4th of July instead.
Yeah, me too.
You seen the afternoon papers, Danny? Yeah, take a look at it.
You look at it for me. What does it say?
Well, first it has got a picture on the front page of a tree. In the tree is me.
Mm-hmm.
Then it says under it, Officer Gino Tartaglia. Yeah, hey, Danny, they spelled it right. Well, Officer Tartaglia spent the afternoon cavorting in a tree to the delight and applause of all the little... Well, it runs on like that.
Oh, forget it. It wasn't your fault.
Then that's what I tried to tell Mrs. Tartaglia.
Doesn't she believe you?
Danny, she called me on the phone. I said, hello? She said, Signor Tarzan. Then she started laughing, hysterical. I can't get her to talk. Every time I pick up my phone, all I hear is Mrs. Tartaglia laughing.
I got my problems, too.
Yeah, this is probably the first time in the history of Santa Claus that he's ever heisted from his appointed rounds.
Maybe. Hey, did you get in touch with Nick's mother again, like I told you?
Oh, Danny, she ain't nowhere to be found. The old day must have skipped. And the 200 Santa Clauses that the boys investigated, not one of these is Nick Norman under the beard. Oh, I'll get it, Danny.
Thanks.
Sergeant Tartaglia. Huh? Yeah, he's here. It's for you, Danny.
Thank you. Danny Clover speaking.
Danny, this is Maxie. You know, Maxine Riddell.
Yeah, how are you, Maxie?
I'm in lingerie, Danny. Come on down.
What?
In the lingerie department at Fletcher's department store. Working. I got news for you. News about Nick Norman. You interested, Danny?
Yeah, I am. Hold on to everything, Maxie. I'll be right down.
Here, mister. Take this black nightgown over to that girl over there. She'll gift wrap it up. Hi, Danny. How am I doing?
Great, Maxie. Only great. How long you been working here?
Only for the Christmas season, Danny. But the way I've been operating, I think maybe they'll keep me on.
No questions about your background?
You mean about me being a shoplifter?
Uh-huh.
That's the reason I got the job. The way I was lifting things, I told them it'd be cheaper for them if they put me on the sales force. So they did. So for $22 a week, I'm an honest mouse. Anyway, it's steady.
Keep it that way, huh, Maxie?
Anything you say, Danny. Well, now that we've had our tea, I guess you want to know about Nick.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart to be a stoolie. You know how it is, Danny. Me with my former alliances.
But it's different now.
Yeah, different. I want it to be different for Tussie, too. You remember how it was between me and Tussie.
How was it?
It was gorgeous. That's why I'm being a pigeon, Danny. If Nick made up his mind to be a kosher citizen, he should stick to it. Not fall back into the arms of a mob like a doll who says mama.
Which mob, Maxie?
Tussie Cons. Such a name for a gorilla. Tussie. How do you figure a name like that?
I don't know him. Where do I find him?
Tussie just got back from Chicago. He bought the Domino Club. I happened to be passing there on my lunch hour, and I saw Nick in a Santa Claus suit drinking grape juice with Tussie. Oh, excuse me, Danny, a customer. Yes, madam. Something for yourself.
Thanks, Maxie.
For what? We have some gorgeous outside girdles, madam, for everyday wear. They're right over here.
The Domino Club in the West 50s is a bright and shiny joint plastered with black glass. It stands close to the ground between two peeling brownstones. When you walk into it, you have the feeling you're walking into the mouth of a beetle. Its walls are lined with black mirrors, and its ceiling is draped with folds of scarlet silk. And at 6 o'clock of a Christmas Eve, the boys, complete with Christmas-wrapped girls, are beginning to gather. You ask a busboy in white tie and tails, where's Tussie Carnes? And he lifts an eyebrow to a guy standing near the bandstand. A guy grinning like an alley cat, while a girl pins a sprig of mistletoe to his lapel. You wait till she kisses Tussie. Then Tussie kisses her. But his eyes are open and flicking around the joint, so he sees you and pushes the girl away.
Beat it, Blitzen. I got company. Merry Christmas, stranger. You want something from Tussie, boy?
Same to you. And I want Nick Norman.
Oh, that's a big desire on a holiday. Why you want Nick? Tell Tussie, boy.
Maybe I gotta explain. I'm Danny Clover, a cop. I want him.
Don't everybody? Come with me, Sonny. Santa's right down at the end of this hallway. Merry Christmas, Melvin.
Ain't it, though, Tussie?
Merry Christmas, George.
Likewise, I'm sure.
I brought you a present, boys.
Goody.
Likewise.
Where's Nick Norman?
This fella here, he says to Tussie boy he wants Nick Norman, our Santa Claus.
Uh-oh. What big eyes you have, mister.
And you know something else that's plain precious, boys?
No. Do tell us, Tussie.
The fella says he is a cop. Isn't that cute, huh?
I could die.
Yeah. So show the fella Santa Claus, huh, fellas? Merry Christmas, Danny Clover. Oh, Tussie boy said that, didn't he?
Stay away from me.
But first we want to wish you on a star. Like
You too crazy. Stay away from me.
I think that was not enough stars. I'll give him another package.
You know that Tussie is good to us. He gave us the best Christmas present two fellas could ever have.
Don't be greedy, Melvin. Leave some for me. Oh, look at that. It's all gone.
Come on, Danny, open your eyes.
What?
Yeah, open your eyes, Danny. It's getting late. Ain't you heard? Christmas is coming.
Hey, it's you, Nick Norman.
Oh, Danny, call me Sandy Claus. That's the nicest alias I got.
Now, look, Nick, I'm going to...
Oh, here, I'll help you up, Danny. Yeah, sit on the edge of the sofa there. Yeah. Sandy Claus, Danny.
Santa Claus, huh?
Sure.
So help me, Nick, where I'm going to put you, you'll spend the next 94 Christmases in solitary.
Take it easy, Danny. Come on, let's get out of here. I'll be late for that kid's party. Come on.
You mean let's get out of here just like that? I don't have to beat my way out of here?
What for?
What's all this about, Nick, Santa Claus?
You're dull today, Danny. What's the matter with you?
But you were kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Me? I would want to do a thing like that to jolly old me.
A man in a tree said two guys pushed you into a car. He only had a bird's eye view, but he said kidnapped.
Oh, you mean Melvin and George?
I mean Melvin and George.
Two pals from Chicago, Daddy. They heard I was out and wanted I should be Santa Claus to a private party they was giving. That's all. Harmless guys, pals, buddies. We enjoy each other.
Yeah, they enjoyed me, too.
Before they left town for this party, they said to tell you... Oh, wait a minute. I wrote it down. It says... Dear Danny Clover, sorry we made a mistake and beat up your head. May the bells ring a joyous Noel for you. Signed, XX. That's Melvin and George.
A mistake, huh?
Sure. They knew some mob or other might try to get me as Santa Claus. They figured you was a mob, so they protected me from you, like you was fibbing about being a cop. After they walloped you unconscious, they went through your pockets and saw you was really a cop. So they wrote this note. The running ink you see here on the note, Danny, that's tears. You'll forgive him, won't you, Danny?
Yeah. How about your mother?
Well, that was your error, Danny. You didn't tell Mom you was from the police, so she thought just like Melvin and George.
Gave me the double talk.
Yeah, that's my mom. A grand old dame. You know what I told her once when I was 9 years old?
Yeah, no, my sleigh's outside. I'll give you a ride back to my office.
Well, that means the whole thing was an error in identification and motive, as they say, huh, Danny?
That's right. Isn't that right, Santa?
Sure. I'll tell it to you again if you want.
No, never mind. What happened to Simon Larrabee?
Oh, he went out for a feast of spud nuts and coffee.
Hey, you don't look very happy, Tartaglia.
No, Danny. I ain't happy. Unhappy. Very.
What's the matter? We've got Santa Claus? Come on, smile. It's going to be a fine Christmas.
I can't, Danny. I just can't. It's Mrs. Tartaglia.
Hmm?
Yeah, now she ain't laughing anymore. The neighbors are laughing and Mrs. Tartaglia is crying.
Why?
Well, the later editions of the paper said that Santa Claus was heisted. It was because I was in a tree. Yeah, the papers say I, single-handed, messed up Christmas.
Bad as that, huh? Well, I'll tell you, Tartaglia.
Hey, what about my Christmas party?
Oh, not yet, Santa. Wait till you get to the party.
Say, the press was saying that you were snatched, Sandy. What gives? It said that mobsters grabbed you.
No, it was just a little misunderstanding.
That's right, Marty. Nick was grabbed by mobsters.
Huh?
Yeah, well, then how'd you get away?
Sergeant Tartaglia.
Yeah?
Uh-huh. Sergeant Tartaglia. The kind of policeman who tracks down criminals to the lair.
I am, Danny?
The kind that single-handed rescued Santa Claus from the jaws of disaster.
This guy did that?
Yep. I'm just about to call the press boys and tell them about it.
Oh, Danny.
I mean it, Tartaglia. Don't be so modest. I'm going to do just that.
Danny.
Put Marty in a cab, Tartaglia. I'll send Santa down the squad car in a little while.
Yeah, sure. Well, come on, little tyke. Marty.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Danny.
Whatever you tell the press guys, Danny, I'll swear to it.
Sure you will.
Yeah, that's a fine Christmas you're giving everybody, Danny. How about yourself?
Oh, I'll have fun at the party. I always do.
Where is it? Where's my money?
Oh, look, Mr. Larrabee, it's Christmas.
Of course it's Christmas. That's why I want my rent, so I can have a Merry Christmas.
Hey, Danny, who is this guy that needs rent to have a Merry Christmas?
This is Simon Larrabee. He wants a year's rent in advance for that warehouse where the kids are having their party. Or else, no party.
Yes, that's who I am.
Oh, like that, huh? So that's how you are, huh, Simon?
Stop breathing in my face, Santa Claus.
All them kids wanting to have a party, and a Simon like you wants to louse it up.
I'll put him down, Nick.
Yes,
I ain't doing nothing, Danny. Just holding Simon up so I can breathe in his face.
Please.
I want you to think about something, Simon. Think about all those kids that are looking forward to that Christmas party, which ain't gonna happen on account of you. Think about
It's all
it.
right. I'm thinking, yes.
Maybe you could think better with a pen in your hand, Simon.
Yes,
A pen that will write out a receipt for a year's rent in advance, huh, Simon?
Of course. Oh, Christmas spirit and all that. Yes, I'll get my receipt book. Yeah. Oh, my. Well, I haven't felt so good in years. Yes, here you are, Mr. Glover. A receipt for a year's rent in advance. And tell the darlings, Merry Christmas with this.
Yeah, I will.
Ain't he a nice fella, Danny? Come on, nice fella. I'll take you to a party. Merry Christmas, Danny.
It's a Merry Christmas, Danny.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. Merry Christmas. On Christmas Eve, Broadway is almost like any other place in the world. The bells ring out, the horns blow, there's laughter. The Mazdas on the Translux spell out slowly, word by word, peace on earth, goodwill to men. And you read it, you believe it. Because on Christmas Eve, you believe a miracle. Then a whirl of confetti is in your eyes, and you're pushed along with the crowd, and you never see the next news bulletin. You don't try to look back. It's Broadway, the merriest, the shiniest, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway, my beat.
Broadway's My Beat stars Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover and is written by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. The musical score was composed by Alexander Courage and conducted by Wilbur Hatch, and the program was produced and directed by Elliott Lewis. The cast tonight included Charles Calvert, Gil Stratton Jr., Howard McNear, Hal March, Bert Holland, Shep Menken, Estelle Dodge, and Peggy Weber. On Christmas afternoon, Jack Benny will be heard as guest star in a full one-hour version of the comedy The Man Who Came to Dinner. Charles Boyer, Gregory Peck, Rosalind Russell, Dorothy McGuire, Henry Fonda, John Garfield, and Gene Kelly will be starring alongside Jack in this special holiday hour. Then an hour later, Jack will be back with his own Sunday night gang for 30 more minutes of holiday hilarity. In fact, the best idea really is stay tuned to CBS all day Christmas Day. Now stay tuned for Sing It Again, which follows immediately on most of the same CBS stations. Joe Walters speaking. This is CBS, where you find Broadway is My Beat every Saturday night, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Broadway's My Beat, from Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world.
Broadway's My Beat, with Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
On the days before Christmas, Broadway dances along to carols that flow from sequined loudspeakers. The kids mash their noses against the plate glass, lick it, and watch. And it's all there. The mechanical clown, the tin man dancing a jig on a tin box, the toy army precisely to scale with the latest equipment, mechanized. And eyes are bright with desire and hope. It's the one time in the year when odds are better that dreams will come true. So make a wish on a neon star. And in the short time before Christmas, creatures were stirring at police headquarters. There's the patter of tired feet and the sound of manly giggles as little gifts are hidden in desk drawers or poured into Dixie cups or slipped under the police blotter. And in my office, my strong right arm, Sergeant Gino Tartaglia. Yeah, it's getting pretty late, Gino. A couple more hours, you can go home and finish decorating your Christmas tree.
Indeed, indeed.
Getting a lot of nice things this year, Gino?
Oh, many's the things, Danny. I guess my old cockles should be warmed. But they're not.
Oh? Something wrong, Gino?
What I want most for Christmas, Danny, I'm not going to get. I'm going to get nicks and knacks and an electric shaver and handkerchiefs and socks and ties and a curved K-Woody pipe to smoke my troubles away.
Sounds like a pretty full Christmas to me, Gino.
Humbug. Danny, what I want most is to go out and solve a crime. To meet face to face the sultry sirens, the hardened criminals, and to solve them the way you do. To go out on a case with you, my fondest wish for Christmas.
Oh, police headquarters would fall apart without you, Gino. You just stick around here and do your job.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. I just thought I'd let you know, that's all. Oh, well.
I'm going downstairs for some coffee. I'll be back soon.
Roger. Face it, Gino. You're stuck at a desk. Yeah? Oh, phone, Gino. Sergeant Gino Tartaglia speaking. Yes. Yes. Yeah, right away. Danny. Hey, Danny.
Yeah, what's the matter, Gino? I haven't gotten my coffee yet.
Coffee? At a time like this? Buddy Malpaugh, the ne'er-do-well millionaire.
What? What about him?
What about him? He has been slugged.
Let's go, Gino.
Did you say Rhett?
Of course, on a case like this, I'll need you, Gino. Come on.
This is his house, Danny. Let's go. It's locked.
Yeah.
Stand aside, Danny. We can go in now, Danny.
Gino.
Yeah?
We could have rung the bell.
Who's got time? You coming?
Over here, Gino, back of the sofa.
Oh, yeah. Take a note, Danny.
Yes, Sergeant.
Buddy Malpaugh, the unconscious ne'er-do-well millionaire, battered and bludgeoned on the supraoccipital region of the cranium,
Back of the skull, Danny. Slugged on the supraoccipital by assailant unknown. From the size of the lump on Buddy Malpaugh's heretofore refined head, conclude that said lump was administered by a blunt weapon 3 millimeters by 5, of irregular contour and lead pipe consistency. You got that, Danny?
Yes, Sergeant.
Hold it. I got a P.S. To wit, luxurious apartment of said ne'er-do-well millionaire, one Buddy Malpaugh, ransacked and left in disarray. P.P.S. The butler of said household will have his work cut out for him.
Shall I phone it in now, Sergeant?
Don't move.
Huh?
The drapes just moved. All right. You, behind those drapes. Out. With your hands clasped behind your neck. Out.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Goody. Danny, it can't be.
It can't be what, Gino?
This man, this hider behind drapes. It can't be. Are you? It is he. Danny, may I present Mike Schreck, the bald-headed miracle detective from Philadelphia.
Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas to you, Mike Schreck.
I assume you gentlemen are of the police of the city?
I present to you, sir, Lieutenant Danny Clover, and myself, Sergeant Gino Tartaglia.
Tartaglia, eh? That name has a familiar ring.
Oh, perhaps because I was an innocent abroad on the guided In the Footsteps of Mike Schreck tour in Philadelphia last summer. I blew myself to it with my vacation money.
It's not for that I remember you, sir. It's for the word that has come to me that you are indeed the brains behind the brains of the New York police force.
Oh, come now, Mr. Schreck. You mustn't believe all
Oh,
you
I
hear.
could have used you, sir, on my famed widow Chalcedony's case. When having trailed the desperado across the 1.83 miles of the Philadelphia-Camden Bridge, I was caught in the seductive toils of...
The machine gun brain of the man, Danny. The memory for details. To have made a part of him the size of the Philadelphia-Camden Bridge.
Gentlemen, enough of nostalgia. To work. It was I who phoned this in to you. Being now on the trail of Lance Lash, master criminal of them all, I was led to this place. Only to find Buddy Malpaugh, the ne'er-do-well millionaire... Oh, but hush. The man is coming around. What happened, man? Tell us what happened.
You are...
Gently, sir. You are among friends?
We're from the police, Mr. Malpaugh. Try to tell us what happened.
Well, I'll try, fellows. I had arranged such a pleasant evening. A date with Rima 9. Oh, not the Rima 9 from Bolivia, but the Miss Rima 9 who is staying at the Stacy Arms.
Go on, Mr. Malpaugh.
Rima was to meet me here at 9:30. However, at precisely at 9, the doorbell rang. I went to open it. There was no one there.
No one?
No one. A prank, I thought. I started back into the apartment. Suddenly, the pain, the awful pain screaming through my skull. It was no prank, I assure you. No, Where is it? Where is it?
Where's what, Mr. Malpaugh?
It's gone. It was here in this case. It's gone.
What's gone, Mr. Malpaugh?
I prized it more than... the jewel scimitar of Genghis Khan.
The jewel scimitar of Genghis Khan.
The jewel... What's going on here, Sergeant?
Read your notes, man. Read your notes.
And watch the sergeant as he considers the attitude of the distressed man, the desolation of him, the sergeant's compassion, understanding. The most precious thing of Malpaugh's life, the jeweled scimitar of Genghis Khan, was gone now, vanished, lost, strayed, stolen, purloined. The sergeant's gentleness, the knowledge of it caught up with Malpaugh, took hold, displaced everything until it was only emptiness, void, vacuum, space, nothing. And finally, the ne'er-do-well millionaire's rejection of it. And turn now, and Sergeant Tartaglia nods sagely. Open the door for him, and leave. Going out of the Stacy Arms, and the clerk at the desk lifts a corner of his lip and an eyebrow when the sergeant mentions the name of a woman he wants to see. The long ride up on the elevator. Walk down the carpeted corridor. The sprig of Christmas holly above the brass door knocker.
This time we'll knock, Danny.
Hi, fellas. Please come in. You'll forgive the way I look.
We're from the police, Miss Nine.
Yeah, we got some questions to ask you.
A piece of finery I picked up at Côte d'Azur. I always wear it at this hour. The wishing hour. You may call me Rima.
I'm Gino. He's Danny.
It's about Buddy Malpaugh, Miss Nine.
Yes.
He was beaten and robbed this evening.
You may sit here beside me, if you wish.
None of this sultry siren stuff, Miss Nine. Didn't you have a date with Mr. Malpaugh this evening?
Yes, I did, at 9:30.
That check, Sergeant.
What time did you get to the Malpaugh mansion?
At 9:30. I rang the bell and rang it. No one answered. I was so disappointed. With an educational evening like that in sight.
Educational?
Buddy was going to show me the jeweled scimitar of Genghis Khan. The real one, not the replica.
Oh? There's a replica?
At the Museum of Far Eastern Lore, I often go there in my idle moments and browse around the Far Eastern things.
You're a strange one, Rima.
Yes.
Please go on.
That's how I met Buddy at the museum. Fate plays strange tricks, doesn't it, Gino?
Yeah.
Now, if you'll pardon me, fellows, I must change.
Well, go right ahead. We'll just make ourselves comfortable.
Let's go, Gino.
We are sorry, Mr. Zoe, that we have made you open your museum to us at such a late hour.
It is always a pleasure, Sergeant, to indulge the whims of the cultured, though they be policemen.
Thank you, Mr. Zoe.
Not at all. And here, gentlemen, looming above you, is the statue of the fabulous terrorizer, Genghis Khan. Clothed in the cap of Tibetan fur, the jeweled gown of brocaded Peking silk, all of it donated to us most generously by Buddy Malpaugh to complete our Far Eastern collection.
And the sword in his hands?
A replica, only I hear, replica of the jeweled scimitar of Genghis Khan. And Mr. Malpaugh's generosity dissolved when it reached...
Tell us about the scimitar, Mr. Zoe.
With the deepest of pleasure. Genghis tore it from the wounded hands of Jalal-Leddin.
His arch and bitter enemy, Danny.
Then for centuries it was lost.
3 centuries, Danny.
Vanished. To reappear again in the Renaissance as an ornament worn about the slim waist of
the Lucrezia Borgia, Danny.
If this scimitar were real, Mr. Zoic, how much would it be worth?
Conservatively?
Conservatively.
$500,000. Give a little, take a little.
$500,000, huh? That's all we need to know. Let's go, Danny.
Yeah.
And to you, Mr. Zoic, many thanks and Merry, Merry Christmas.
And to you, sir. Hey.
$500,000, Danny. No wonder Mr. Malpaugh, the ne'er-do-well millionaire.
Gino, hit the ground. Hit the... Danny. Oh. Gino, you're...
Yeah. Help me, Danny. I've been shot. Oh.
You are listening to Broadway's My Beat, written by Morton Fine and David Friedkin, and starring Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover. It's so delightful it's become a Christmas tradition with Amos and Andy. Tomorrow night, again, Amos will be heard explaining the meaning of the Christmas spirit to his little daughter, Arbadella. It wouldn't be Yuletide without this special bit Amos and Andy contribute to the season's atmosphere, so be sure to hear it again over most of these same CBS radio stations tomorrow night on Amos and Andy.
As the winds move to the place of the year's dying, the Mazdas on Broadway's Translux arrange themselves in merry thoughts. Suitable for Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future. Broadway walks by, glances up, smiles, hurries to buy the last-minute gift for the last-minute friend. Crosby sings the tune that's in your heart. The corner Santa Claus winks, and the golden girl stops you, asks which way to Gimbel's, invites you to come along and show her. The budget term dreams are coming true, kid. So go live a little.
Danny, I've been shot. Oh, no. I must have been dreaming. Where was I? Oh, yeah, I was shot.
There you are, Sergeant. As good as new.
My thanks, Dr. Sinsky.
May I say something, Gino?
Indeed you may.
I've been privileged to attend many courageous men. But you, Gino, no other way I can say it. I stand in humility before you.
Ah, Dr. Sinsky, you shouldn't say those things.
He's right, Gino. Dr. Sinsky's only saying what all of us feel. We've already initiated proceedings for an award for bravery beyond the call of duty.
Danny, Dr. Sinsky, dear true friends. I know not what to... May I?
Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. Sergeant Gino Tartaglia speaking. Yes? Yes. Yes. That was Mike Schreck. Evil has come to him. Get me a squad car.
But, Gino,
Never mind the hole in my head. Danny, a squad car. I can't move.
The door's locked, Gino.
One side. After you, Danny.
Mr. Schreck, what happened to you?
Landslash.
The master criminal of them all?
I give the devil his due.
You haven't told us what happened, Mr. Schreck.
Please, gentlemen, please, you help me up.
Oh, of course. Now be gentle with him, Danny.
Yeah.
Over here on the bed. Now, tell us about it.
Oh, my friends, I feel I have failed you.
Oh, don't talk like that. After all, how many people have come face to face with Landslash and lived to tell about it?
Give the devil his due.
Yes. Now, would you mind telling us what happened?
I came here to my rooms. Sparsely furnished, you'll admit, but the way I like it. No furbelows to distract my attention. I needed to think. I knew I was once again hot on the trail of Landslash. Once again, from the ends of the earth.
Listen to the man, Danny.
We had met, Landslash and I. The last time on the lonely Isle Mauritius, when we battled hand to hand on top of old Farfangan, the volcano.
Yeah, I know, but what happened tonight?
As is my wont before I retired, I looked under my bed, gentlemen, and there he was, Landslash.
So you got under, too, and started a fight with him, huh?
Yes, it was nip and tuck under there, but if the devil has...
But why did he come here, Mr. Schreck?
He thought I had the jeweled scimitar of Genghis Khan. And as you know, gentlemen, I have not. As you... Oh, would you mind, Sergeant?
Oh, of course. Yes? Yes. Yes. How do you like that, Danny?
Like what?
Rima 9.
The sultry siren?
Yeah, she was picked up on a disorderly conduct charge. And you know what she had with her?
No, I don't.
A scimitar. And it was smashed to pieces. Let's go, Danny. If I were you, I'd try a poultice, Mr. Schreck. Open it, Danny.
Yeah.
Well, Rima, what have you to say for yourself?
This! You!
Take it easy, Rima. Just relax. Kicking will get you nowhere. A wildcat, Danny.
You! All of you! That's for you!
Easy, girl. Easy. That's it. That's a good girl. That's a baby.
You have strong arms, Sergeant. Don't take them away.
The boys say they picked you up screaming on a street corner. Why were you doing that, Miss Nine?
They tell you about me banging their empty heads together till they rang out the season's greetings?
They mentioned it. Now you tell us why you did all that, and right before Christmas.
You know why. That piece of mail-order carving knife masquerading as the jeweled scimitar of Genghis Khan.
Not the genuine article, huh?
Not the genuine article, huh? He says. It was a fake! A dirty, rotten, so-tiny...
Don't scream, Angel. We're all nearby.
Okay, so it was a fake, Miss Nine. Where'd you get it?
What's that got to do?
Only this. You rang Buddy Malpaugh's bell at 9 last night. You slugged him, stole the scimitar. Now you're hurt because it's a fake. Charges pile up, huh, Sergeant? Assault, theft?
Indeed they do, Rima.
Book me for anything you want, lover. Just so you bring in that woman-beating cab driver.
Huh?
The cab driver. I get in this cab. Tell him to get me to the airport in a hurry. Why should I stay in this lonesome town when what I had in my hands was worth $500,000? What I had in my hands.
Go on.
So Cabby tilts his cap to me. I see the union label. I figure he's friendly, trustworthy, loyal. I make chit-chat with him when, wham, bang, he turns onto a side street, grabs me by the throat, wrestles me for the scimitar. He looks at it, then breaks it over my head. And you know who he was? Who he really was?
Not.
None other. Lance Lash, the master criminal of them all. Lover, imagine poor little me in the clutches of Lance Lash.
Oh, there. Don't think about it.
You can let her go now, Gino.
Read your notes, man. Just read your notes.
And leave there. Go away. Find a place at police headquarters and close the door to the outside. Think about it, you and Sergeant Tartaglia. Put it down and add it up. It doesn't come out. So Sergeant Tartaglia puts it down and adds it up. And it comes out. Go to a place now, back to the museum, and tell it all to a man you talked to before.
I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it.
You better believe it, Mr. Zoid, because that's the only way it makes sense.
That's right. If the scimitar stolen from Buddy Malpaugh was a phony, then the one the statue of Genghis Khan is holding is the real one.
The ingeniousness of the man Malpaugh. What better way to keep his treasure safe than to put it before the eyes of the world?
We want to see again, Mr. Zoid.
Of course you do. This way. This is very gratifying to me, this publicity. People from all walks of life now drop in to catch a peek of the statue of Genghis Khan holding the scimitar. And just 10 minutes ago, I had to warn a cab driver to keep hands off.
A cab driver?
Yes. Interesting fellow, too. Interesting face.
We better hurry, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, look. I don't understand.
Genghis Khan. He's dressed like a cab driver.
He's holding a city guidebook in his hand. The scimitar is gone. It's impossible.
Maybe, but it's happened. The cab driver changed clothes.
Maybe we can catch him, Danny.
Yeah.
And maybe that man sitting on the steps saw him.
Let's ask him.
Hey, mister.
Hello.
Did you see a man come out of here a few minutes ago?
Well, I guess I did. I've been sitting here for the last hour.
Did you notice anything strange about any of them, the way one of them was dressed?
Let me see now.
This man had on a fur cap and a brocaded robe. He was carrying a scimitar.
Oh, sure, I saw him. I didn't pay him no mind, though. I just figured he was from California.
Let's go, Gino.
Danny, I think I got it.
Got what?
Get in the car and I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, where are we going?
To see Mike Schreck, the bald-headed miracle detective from Philadelphia. I think we're at Trail's End.
It's Lieutenant Clover, Mr. Schreck, and Sergeant Tartaglia.
I'll be with you in a minute.
We're still waiting, Mr. Schreck.
Come in. I was just tidying up.
Going someplace, Mr. Schreck?
Back to Philadelphia. I'm afraid Lance Lash has outwitted me again.
Oh, has he now?
Yes, but I'll get him. After the holidays.
Sit down, Mr. Schreck. Tell us how you're going to get Lance Lash.
Well, I'm going to the Congo after the holidays.
Oh? And why are you going to do that, Mr. Schreck?
Rumor has already drifted up from the veldt of the sudden appearance of the long-lost emerald eye of the goddess Osiris. If I know Lance Lash, that's where he'll be. After the holidays.
Yeah, he will he? Let me ask you a question, Mr. Schreck.
At your service.
How long did you say the Philadelphia-Camden Bridge was?
1.83 miles.
See? What did I tell you, Danny?
Go ahead, Gino. Correct him.
The length of the Philadelphia-Camden Bridge is 1.81 miles. Did you hear me, Mr. Schreck?
I heard you.
Mike Schreck would never make an error like that.
Oh?
Lance Lash, the master criminal of them all, I presume.
At your service, gentlemen.
Look in the closet, Danny.
Right. It's here, all right. The costume of Genghis Khan.
And, of course, you left the disguise of the cab driver at the museum.
My compliments to you, sir.
You came to the house of Buddy Malpaugh after the Scimitar was stolen. You traced it to Rima 9. Disguised as a cab driver, you found her with it making her flight. You discovered it was a fake.
That is correct. Of course, you know what happened then. I deduced the same thing you did, that the genuine Scimitar was at the museum.
Where is it now, Mr. Lash?
Where is it? Why, it is here.
Watch out, Gino. He'll cut you to pieces.
I'll take him, Danny. Lance.
Don't.
Say uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah. Look, Danny. See? I removed this bald-headed toupee, and what do we have? A full head of hair. What a phony you are, Lance Lash.
Gino. Come on, Gino, wake up. Come on.
Huh?
You fell asleep, Gino.
Huh? Yeah, I must have dozed.
No calls, huh?
Yeah, from... No calls.
What's the matter with you, Gino?
Danny.
Yeah?
I had a dream, Danny. I was a big hero. I went out on a case with you.
A dream, huh? I want to tell you something, Gino.
What?
When something happens to you, something real, and then it's over, you know what you have left? Memory.
Yeah, Danny. That's right.
When a dream's over, and you can remember it, you have the same thing. A memory. That's all anything is, Gino. A memory.
Then I got my Christmas wish, huh, Danny?
Sure you did. Go on home now.
Sure. Merry Christmas, Danny.
Merry Christmas, Gino. The bells ring out on Broadway, and the horns blow, and there's laughter. The translux spells out peace on earth, goodwill to men. You read it and believe it, because it's Christmas time, the time for believing in miracles. The crowd pushes you along, and you're part of it. And it makes you happy. It's Broadway, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway. My beat.
Broadway's My Beat stars Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover, with Charles Calvert as Tartaglia and Jack Crucian as Muggavan. The program was produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with musical score composed and conducted by Alexander Courage. In tonight's story, Lamont Johnson was heard as Mike Schreck, Georgia Ellis as Rima 9, Howard McNear as Mr. Zoic, and George Neese as Buddy Malpaugh. Ships loaded with vital cargoes for our men at the fighting front are swinging at anchor for lack of radio officers. Men with 6 months merchant ship radio operating experience since 1935 or any kind of FCC license can get an emergency license to ship at once. Write, phone, wire, or go now to American Radio Association, 5 Beekman Street, New York City. Bill Anders speaking. And remember, the comedy treat that can't be beat is Jack Benny Time, Sunday nights on the CBS Radio Network.
coffee, George?
Sure. Pour me a cup, Gracie.
You know Maxwell House is always good to the last drop.
That drop's good, too.
Yes, it's Maxwell House Coffee Time, starring George Burns and Gracie Allen. With yours truly, Toby Reed, B. Benaderet, Hans Conried, Pat McGeehan, Doris Singleton, Harry Lubin, the Maxwell House Orchestra, and Bill Goodwin.
For America's Thursday night comedy enjoyment, it's George and Gracie. And for America's everyday coffee drinking enjoyment, it's Maxwell House. The coffee that's bought and enjoyed by more people than any other brand at any price. Yes, Maxwell House. Always good. To the last drop.
Well, it's Thanksgiving morning as we look in at the Burns home, but that's not the subject of discussion between George and Gracie. It seems that George is going to be best man at a friend's wedding, and he's telling Gracie all about it.
It's Bob Webster who's getting married, Gracie.
Bob Webster?
Yeah, you remember the Webster boys. We had them here for dinner one night.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Bob is the one who spills the gravy on the tablecloth's brother.
Yeah, that's him. Well, Bob is finally going to settle down and marry himself a wife.
Well, wouldn't it be better if he married a single girl?
She is single.
Oh, good. Do I know her?
I don't think so. She's marrying Carol.
Oh, I thought she was marrying Bob Webster. Who's Bob marrying?
Marrying Carol.
He's marrying the same person?
No. Look.
Oh, then who's he marrying?
Marrying Carol.
Well, George, for a best man, you certainly are mixed up.
Gracie, this Marion is spelled Marian. Now do you understand?
Well, of course I understand. I'm no dumbo.
Good. The bride is marrying Carol.
All right. Now, who's the groom marrying?
Oh, nuts.
Oh, nuts. It's an Irish girl, huh?
Yes, Molly O'Nuts. Well, anyway, this is the first time I've ever been best man. How do you think I should dress?
Oh, the usual way. First, put on your underwear, then...
I don't mean that. I mean, how should I dress at the wedding?
Oh, I wouldn't. I dressed here.
Well, forget the whole thing. I'll go to the wedding in a tuxedo.
Well, it's only a couple of blocks. Why don't you walk?
Yeah. Well, a tuxedo is that funny black suit I wore when we got married.
Oh, have you still got that suit?
Well, sure.
You must owe a lot of rent on it by now.
About $30,000. Well, now I'm going out to borrow some studs. But first I better put this wedding ring where it'll be safe.
Oh, what a beautiful ring. It's set with diamonds and everything.
Yeah, Bob was so nervous he asked me to keep it.
Oh, let me wear it until the wedding tomorrow.
Oh, no. You might lose it. Besides, you've got a wedding ring.
Oh, but this one is so beautiful.
Gracie, a wedding ring is just a symbol. It doesn't matter if it's solid brass.
Well, I know. I love my ring. But this one is so exquisite. I won't lose it. I've never lost mine.
Honey, this ring cost $1,000. Yours cost $5.
No, George, no. My ring cost $10.
No, I paid $5 for it.
Are you sure?
Well, certainly.
Well, then you forgot to give me my change.
I'll owe it to you. And Bob's ring goes right in this drawer. And I want it to stay there. Now I got to find some tuxedo studs and get the suit pressed.
Oh, there's Blanche Morton at the back door. Come in, Blanche.
Hello, folks. Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, same to you, Blanche.
Say, Gracie, I'm having a bunch in for dinner. I wonder if I could borrow that wonderful little pot of yours that cooks things so fast.
Well, certainly. Go along with it, George.
No, I mean your Presto cooker.
Oh, that. that? Oh, sure. I'll be finished with it in a few minutes.
Say, Blanche, has Harry got some tuxedo studs I can borrow?
Oh, I think so.
I'm best man at Bob Webster's wedding tomorrow.
Really? Who's Bob Marion?
Marion Carroll.
No, George, you're mixed up again. He's marrying Molly O'Nutt.
Well, let's not get back into that routine. I'll run over and get the studs from Harry.
How's your Thanksgiving dinner coming along, Gracie?
Oh, just fine, Blanche. I've made pumpkin pie, chestnut dressing, and see, I've got the oven turned to 350 degrees. That's perfect for browning a turkey. That reminds me, I better look at it. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
You burnt the turkey?
No, I forgot to get one.
Fine, and I'll bet George is so hungry he could eat the table leaves.
Well, quick, put him in the oven.
I was only kidding, Gracie. You gotta have a turkey.
But, Blanche, the markets are all closed. How will I get one?
Drive out to the country and buy one from a farmer.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Sure. What do you want, a tom turkey?
Tom turkey, Sam turkey. Who cares what it's I'm going to feed him to George, not introduce him. You help yourself to the cooker. I'll head for the country.
All right.
Oh, I wonder if I dare. Yes, I'll wear it. Blanche, isn't this a beautiful wedding ring?
Oh, it's magnificent. Oh, you lucky girl.
No, it's not mine. It belongs to a girl Bob Webster's going to marry.
Oh, nuts.
Yeah, that's right, Molly. George told me not to wear it, but I'm going to anyhow.
Gracie, are you the kind of wife who disobeys her husband?
Well, sure, I'm normal. See you later, Blanche.
Well, there they are, ma'am. I've got about 20 turkeys left. I'm selling them for 60 cents a pound.
Well, I guess I'll have to pay it. My husband insists on turkey, but it does seem high.
It costs money to feed an old gobbler.
Yes, especially when he insists on turkey.
Want me to pick one out for you?
Oh, no. You might try to fool me. I'll pick them out myself. I'm an expert. I know all about turkeys from their manes to their withers.
Yeah, I can tell you're an expert, all right. See one you want?
Oh, I see one I don't want. That turkey nearest the fence. It's got flat feet.
Yep. Besides, it's a duck.
Well, I want a turkey. Oh, there's a cute little baby one.
He'll be a fine bird when he grows up. He's milk-fed.
Oh, now there you go, trying to fool me. That little turkey couldn't be milk-fed. He's too short to reach a cow's faucet.
I'm sorry I tried to fool you.
Well, I better pick out a turkey. Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, my goodness.
What's the matter?
The wedding ring, it's gone. It must have slipped off my finger here in the turkey pen.
Well, I don't see nothing of it.
Oh, if that ring's gone, my husband will murder me. It's a $1,000 wedding ring.
I'll bet I know what's happened. One of them turkeys took it.
Well, quick, which one of them is planning to get married?
Lady, I mean one of them turkeys swallowed it.
Oh, that's terrible. You see, the ring isn't mine. My husband had it for another woman.
My, you Hollywood folks.
Oh, quick, get it out of the turkey.
Well, I don't know which one swallowed it.
Oh, I wish it had been my wedding ring. We'd know the turkey in a minute. He'd turn green. Oh, but you've got to get it.
Well, I can't kill all them turkeys. It's too late to sell them.
Well, I don't want you to kill them. Just turn them inside out and shake them.
Lady, the only way to find that ring is for you to buy these turkeys and let me kill them.
No, sir. I can't let 19 innocent turkeys die just because one of them is a thief. I'll take them home with me and find the guilty one somehow.
Well, just as you say, ma'am.
But how will I get all these turkeys to town?
I'll truck them in.
Well, that's a long way to dance. Well, then you look healthy. Here's my address. Put put them on the back porch.
Gracie, I'm home. Where are you? Huh. Guess she's out in the kitchen. Hey, Gracie, I got the tuxedo studs. No, not here either. Maybe she's on the back porch. Holy smoke. Her mother is here for Thanksgiving. No, it couldn't be her mother. She talks louder than that. I'll have another look. Who's out there?
Nobody but us turkeys.
Gracie, come in the house. I want to talk to you. What goes on here? There must be a dozen turkeys on our back porch.
Oh, now don't exaggerate, dear. There are only 20.
Well, why in the world did you buy 20 turkeys?
Why?
Yeah, why?
You see, when I left the farm, I only had 2 turkeys, but they happened to be male and female, and, well, you know turkeys. Now we've got 20.
That's rabbits.
No, they're turkeys. Look again.
I mean, turkeys can't multiply like rabbits. Turkeys lay eggs.
Well, there's something rabbits can't do, so they're even.
Gracie, stop being silly. Why did you buy 20 turkeys?
Oh, all right. I guess I'll have to tell you the truth.
Well, I should hope so. It's enough turkeys to fill the Salvation Army baskets.
You guessed it.
Huh?
Those turkeys are for the Salvation Army. They were donated by a kind farmer.
Oh, well, thanks for telling the truth.
Well, thanks for thinking of it. Now, excuse me, dear. I have to run out and borrow some fishing tackle.
You going fishing? Where?
Oh, if I told you, you'd say I was crazy.
I'll take a chance. Where are you going fishing?
Inside those turkeys.
You're crazy.
See, I told you.
But, Gracie...
Goodbye, dear.
Oh, what a little screwball. Well, I'll put a stop to this foolishness. I'll call the Salvation Army and tell them to come and pick up their turkeys.
What? You let the Salvation Army take those turkeys?
Well, certainly. They have to dress them and send them out.
They may have to dress 19 of them, but one of those turkeys can afford the best tailor in town.
What?
I'll see you later, dear.
What are you talking about?
Is this the Salvation Army headquarters?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you still have the turkeys you got from Mr. Burns?
Why, yes.
Oh, thank goodness. He wants them back right away.
You mean he's an Indian giver?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. He gave you the turkeys by mistake. He meant to give you Indians.
Huh?
Well, you see, my husband was too proud to tell you, but our children are starving, and that's why we've got to have those turkeys back.
All 20 of them?
Yes.
But, Mrs. Burns, 20 turkeys will feed 200 children.
So, 4 of my kids will go hungry.
It's impossible for a woman to have 204 children.
Well, I have them the easy way. 102 sets of twins.
102 sets of twins.
Well, my husband makes bookends, and it's affected his whole life.
Mrs. Burns, I'm afraid this is unbelievable.
You don't believe my husband makes bookends, huh?
I don't believe any of it.
Oh, well, all right, then I'll tell you the truth. One of those turkeys has a $1,000 ring inside of it.
Oh, I'm afraid you're mistaken. No ring was found when those turkeys were cleaned.
Well, it must have been there. What cleaner did you send them to?
We cleaned them ourselves, and there was no ring. Wait a moment. There was a baby turkey in the flock, too small to kill. He's here in the back room. Maybe he swallowed the ring.
Oh, that cute little baby. Oh, that baby couldn't be a juvenile delinquent. I'm sure he didn't swallow the ring. Sounds like I was wrong.
Shall we kill him and recover the ring?
Oh, no. He's just a baby. And an orphan, too. You've already killed his mother and father and all his aunts and uncles. Oh, don't you worry, little turkey. Gracie will protect you. I'll take him home with me.
But, Mrs. Burns, that turkey has a $1,000 ring inside of him. How will you get it?
Well, I'll think of something. Come on, you little Fort Knox with feathers.
The hills of home, friendly American hills that today embrace a grateful nation, offering thanks for bountiful crops and rich harvests. Yes, on this most traditional of all American holidays, happy families are gathered at home, celebrating this Thanksgiving in feasting and good cheer, enjoying the warm fellowship and generous hospitality that make this day one of the favorite holidays of the year. And the folks who make Maxwell House coffee are happy indeed that their coffee, America's favorite brand, is such a familiar part of this Thanksgiving tradition. And they earnestly hope that their unceasing efforts to bring you the very best in rich, satisfying coffee-drinking goodness will continue to add to your enjoyment of Thanksgiving and every day in the year.
I told you not to touch that ring. Now it's inside this silly turkey.
Oh, please, George. He didn't know what he was doing. He's just a baby, an orphan.
Orphan schmorphin. Gonna chop his head off, cut him open, and take him apart.
But, George, he might not recover from a thing like that.
So he doesn't recover. Now give him here.
No, now wait. George, we're not absolutely positive he swallowed the ring. Let's make sure before we do anything.
How?
Well, let's take him to a doctor and have him x-rayed.
I'm not going to a doctor's office just to have a turkey x-rayed.
Well, all right. While we're there, he can take out your appendix.
Now give me the turkey.
No, George, no. You may be hurting an innocent baby. We'll take him to the doctor and have him x-rayed.
Oh, no, we won't.
Oh, yes, we will.
Oh, no, we won't.
Here's the doctor's office, George. You stay in here in the waiting room with the turkey. I'll go see if the doctor's busy.
Make it snappy. Oh, quiet.
Come in.
Are you the doctor?
Yes, I'm sorry my receptionist isn't here today, but I always come to the office on Thanksgiving. Do a tremendous bicarbonate business.
Well, I want you to take an x-ray.
Very well. Step behind that screen and remove your clothes, please.
All right, doctor, but can I peek over the screen while you x-ray the patient?
You're not the patient?
Oh, no. My husband has him outside. We think he swallowed a ring.
Oh, a baby.
Yes. He's only about 2 weeks old.
Is he in any pain?
Oh, no. He's very lively. On the way here, he jumped out of the car. My husband chased him for a block.
And he's only 2 weeks old?
Mm-hmm. But very agile. We finally caught him on top of the mailbox.
This promises to be a remarkable case. How did he happen to swallow this ring?
Well, the ring fell on the ground, and I think he ate it by mistake when he snapped at a grasshopper.
You allow him to eat grasshoppers? What kind of a mother are you?
Oh, I'm not his mother. He's an orphan. His mother and father were killed by the Salvation Army.
I'm a bit confused. Suppose you just bring the patient in.
All right. I hope you can take the X-ray through his feathers.
The baby has feathers?
Well, certainly all turkeys do.
The patient is a turkey?
Yes. Now, I'll bring him in for X-ray.
Madam, I am not a veterinarian.
Well, who cares if you eat meat? Just X-ray the
I'll make a bargain with you. I'll X-ray your turkey if you'll will your brain to medical science.
All right. If you can't get Einstein. Imagine you thinking the turkey was a baby.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should have realized that a 2-week-old baby wouldn't snap at grasshoppers.
Well, of course not. My brother Willie didn't start until he was a grown man.
For this, I opened my office.
Oh, all right, George. Bring the turkey in.
There he is, Doctor. Gosh, I feel silly. You must think I'm the world's prize idiot.
No, there's already been a winner.
Now, quiet, baby. You're going to be X-rayed to see if you swallow the ring.
I just put him behind the fluoroscope here.
Oh, my goodness. I don't see the ring, but he certainly has swallowed a lot of bones.
You are looking at his skeleton. Wait, I see it. The ring is in his esophagus.
Oh, now, Doctor, I'm over 21. You can say stomach in front of me.
It's not in the bird's stomach. It's lodged halfway down its throat.
Can we get it without killing him?
Not unless he coughs it up. And turkeys rarely cough.
Then I'll have to kill him. Come on, Gracie.
Oh, no, George, please. Give him a chance.
But suppose he never coughs up the ring. I'll have to cough up $1,000.
Oh, I thought you kept your money in the bank.
Come on.
Well, come on, George. Blow some more smoke in the turkey's face. It'll make him cough.
This is silly.
Well, try once more. A great big puff. Ah, there he coughed.
He didn't cough. I coughed.
Well, why? You didn't swallow the ring.
I swallowed some smoke.
Oh. Well, we don't need that. You can keep it.
Well, thanks. Come in.
Well, hi, Burnses. What's doing?
Oh, hello, Bill. George is blowing smoke at the turkey.
George, you have to kill it before you smoke it.
I'm not smoking the turkey.
Now, he's smoking a cigar.
I'm trying to get a wedding ring out of this turkey.
Well, George, I don't think you two will be happy together.
Bill.
But if you do make a go of it, I hope your kids look like the turkey.
If you'll be quiet a minute, I'll explain this thing.
Okay.
It's a fascinating story. You see, there's a big wedding tomorrow, and I've been picked as the best man.
Well, right away, it's fascinating.
Relax, Scott. Bob Webster is getting married, and he gave me a wedding ring to keep for him.
Bob Webster, huh? Who's he marrying?
Marrying Carol.
Oh, George, you still haven't got it straight. He's marrying that Irish girl.
Oh, quiet.
I thought it was so nuts.
Well, anyway, Bill, the ring cost $1,000. Gracie dropped it, and this turkey swallowed it.
And now George wants to kill the little defenseless turkey. How can we stop him, Bill?
Well, that's easy. Give the poor, miserable little creature a cup of Maxwell House coffee.
The turkey?
No, George. The rich, mellow, good-to-the-last-drop flavor of Maxwell House will put him in such a happy mood that he won't want to kill the turkey. Then he'll go out into the world with a smile on his handsome face, and you'll be proud to be seen with him.
George.
No, the turkey. Oh, you'll be proud of George, too, because the roaster fresh goodness of Maxwell House will warm his heart and keep him from harming that innocent bird. Then your little pet can waddle around the house, and you can feed him and care for him all his life.
The turkey.
No, George. Just see that he gets plenty of Maxwell House coffee. It's America's favorite, a blend of superb Latin American coffees radiantly roasted to flavor perfection. And I know he'll be glad to hear me say that.
George?
No, the sponsor.
The switch.
Yes.
I see. Well, I've heard enough of this. I want that ring, and it's just too bad for this turkey. I'm going to take the axe and let him have it.
Oh, don't let him have it, George. He'll beat your brains out.
I'm going out and sharpen the axe, and if that turkey hasn't coughed up that ring in 30 minutes, he's through.
Oh, I wish I had never seen Molly O'Quiet's wedding ring.
Gracie, her name is Marion Carroll, and she's a very sweet girl. I know her.
You mean she's tender-hearted?
Oh, yeah. She cried like a baby when she found out she couldn't marry me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, then I think I can save this turkey. Call her and get her over here right away. So that's the situation, Marion. Your ring is inside this darling little turkey, and I know you wouldn't want him killed.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Burns, but I've got to have my wedding ring.
Well, you can have it, but the turkey goes with it.
Well, suppose people want to see the ring.
Show them an X-ray.
But I can't get married without a ring.
Oh, sure you can. Just change the ceremony a little bit. The groom says, with this turkey I thee wed.
Now, look, I've got to have my wedding ring. I can't go on a honeymoon without it.
So the turkey goes with you. He'll make a wonderful chaperone.
Well, now, why would I need a chaperone on my honeymoon?
Well, husbands get awfully fresh. George even tried to kiss me.
Oh, Mrs. Burns, I'd be embarrassed taking a turkey on my honeymoon.
Well, then wrap it up in a blanket and say it's your baby.
I don't believe that would save embarrassment.
Well, don't forget the turkey might cough up the ring.
Well, what would make a turkey cough?
Well, now look, get this picture. The three of you are on your honeymoon. The turkey has been out for a walk, and he comes back unexpectedly and catches you and your husband holding hands. Naturally, he wants to let you know he's there, so he gives a little cough. Bingo, out pops the ring.
Mrs. Burns, I've heard enough.
Oh, really convinced you, huh?
No. I'm being married in a few hours, and I want my ring, turkey or no turkey.
Well, look, Marion, I'll make a bargain with you. Spare this turkey's life, and I'll see that you get the thrill supreme at your wedding.
What's that?
My husband will sing. His romantic voice is perfect for a wedding.
But
When George sings, people think they're at a wedding whether they are or not. The minute he opens his mouth, they start throwing old shoes.
Oh, no. Really, Mrs. Burns.
Well, Gracie, time's up. I've come for the turkey.
Hello, Mr. Burns.
Oh, hello, Marion.
George, Marion wants you to sing at her wedding. Give her a sample of your orange blossom baritone.
Oh, but Mr. Burns,
Now, Marion, I'll be glad to do it. Get a load of this. I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow. Life with its tears.
The turkey is choking.
Oh, look, he coughed up my wedding ring.
Oh, how wonderful.
I'll take it with me just for the sake. Goodbye, Mrs. Burns.
Goodbye, Marion. Well, George, she's gone.
Oh, do I get the job?
Yes, dear. Anytime a turkey swallows a wedding ring, we'll call on you.
Well, I'm a success. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company. makers of Campbell Soup present the Campbell Playhouse. Orson Welles, producer.
Good evening. This is Orson Welles. There are clearly a number of ways in which a Christmas carol could be introduced. Myself, I am most struck by the happy fortune that enables us on this Christmas Eve to present Mr. Lionel Barrymore, the best-loved actor of our time, in the world's best-loved Christmas story, A Christmas Carol. When Charles Dickens presented this little story to the world almost 100 years ago, it found an instant response in the hearts of people everywhere who saw in it their favorite fictional chronicle of what Christmas is and what Christmas means to all the simple people of the earth. From the day of its first printing, families have been innumerable in which there has remained unbroken the tradition that the reading of A Christmas Carol was an item indispensable to a proper observance of the most important of days. It is the American way, as we know, to establish traditions quickly where popular instinct and sentiment pronounce them sound. And so it is that today, actually only the 5th anniversary of Mr. Lionel Barrymore's first playing of the part of Ebenezer Scrooge for the Campbell Playhouse, there is, I think, in all America nothing more eagerly awaited, more firmly rooted in the hearts of the radio family that numbers millions than this yearly performance of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol, as Charles Dickens wrote it, has by common consent long been a classic. Mr. Lionel Barrymore's appearance in it is rapidly becoming one. And now, just before A Christmas Carol, Ernest Chappell has a special Christmas greeting from the makers of Campbell Soups. Mr. Chappell?
Thank you, Orson Welles. As the old year draws toward its close, we of Campbell's feel a bond of warmth and gratitude toward each of you, our friends. For you see, in homes everywhere throughout the land, Campbell's Soups have been welcomed. Day by day and week by week, you have placed confidence in us and in the foods we make. And there isn't anything we appreciate more deeply than the fact that so many of you have elected to let Campbell's make your soups for you. And so when Christmas comes, we look about to find some way to show our appreciation, some Christmas present by which to say thank you. The gift we chose 5 Christmases ago and have chosen each year since has become a part of Christmas to many and many a family. It has become a Christmas custom, as Mr. Wells said, to gather round the radio to hear and to enjoy A Christmas Carol. And since it is Christmas Eve, we hope, too, that the younger members of the family are permitted to stay up and listen before dreams and visit of Santa. We get a great deal of pleasure planning and preparing this Christmas gift, and now it's ready. Off come the wrappings, off come the tags that say, please do not open till Christmas. Out comes the card. To you, from Campbell's. And here is the gift itself.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. Scrooge and Marley were partners for I don't know how many years. But he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. And once upon a time, of all the good days in the year, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house, a grim, cheerless place if ever there was one. The door of Scrooge's counting house was open that he might keep his eye upon his clerk, Bob Cratchit, who in a cold and dismal little cell beyond worked at his ledgers.
merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. 23, 26, 29. 9 carry 2. Christmas Day. 11, 13, 17, 17.
Bob Cratchit.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge?
Stop that infernal caterwauling.
Yes, sir. 9, 15, 17, 29, carry 1.
Impudence. Singing their idiotic Christmas carols in my very door. Go on! Get away from my door! Go somewhere else and bellow your blasted carols or I'll give you in charge.
Sorry, Governor. It's an old custom at Christmas time, you know.
Yes, and I don't want any of your old customs. Take your fellow fools and go away. Christmas. Blah.
Right, sir. Merry Christmas anyway, sir.
Ah. Now you get that letter from Higgins and Blackthorn, Cratchit, and then I want you to finish posting this ledger. And after that, you can pop over to Fothergill's and tell Ephraim Fothergill you've come after the 17 shillings and 6pence he's owed me since Michaelmas. And tell him I shall have a constable over there if he doesn't pay up at once.
Mr. Fothergill's wife has been ill, sir.
Oh, what do I care about his wife? I want my 17 and 6.
I just thought it being Christmas, sir.
Christmas. You mention that word to me once more, Bob Cratchit, and I'll...
Merry Christmas, Uncle. A Merry Christmas, Bob.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Fred.
God save you, Uncle.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug, Uncle? Now, I'm sure you don't mean that.
I mean just that. Exactly that. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal about Christmas, Uncle? You're rich enough.
Yeah.
Now, Uncle, don't be cross.
Well, what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools? What's Christmas to you but a time for paying bills without money? Merry Christmas. A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle?
Now, nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it, Uncle.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. What do you want? A Christmas gift, I've no doubt.
I came to wish you a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
A Merry Christmas. Much good may Christmas do you. Much good it ever has done you.
There are many things from which I derived good, by which I have not profited materially, I dare say, Uncle. Christmas among the rest. But I have always thought of Christmas time as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
God bless Christmas. Hurrah! Let me hear another sound out of you there, Bob Cratchit, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. Yes. As to you, nephew, I wonder you don't go into Parliament. You talk enough nonsense.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry you feel that way. Well, I've tried. A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Ah, humbug.
And a Merry Christmas to you, Bob, and the missus, and to Tiny Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. Same to you, sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, Bob.
Nonsense. Twaddle. Flummery. Talking of Christmas and not 2 sixpences to jingle together in his trousers pocket. Hey, you there, Bob Cratchit. Come here. What are you doing there?
I was only putting a bit more coal in the fire, Mr. Scrooge, seeing it's so cold in there, sir.
You put that coal back into the scuttle. A fire. A fire, indeed. I can tell you, if you use coal at that rate, you and I will soon be parting company, Bob Cratchit. You understand that? There's many a young fella like your situation, you know.
I'm sorry, sir. My fingers were getting a little stiff with the cold.
Well, then put on your mittens. There's someone at the door. Go on, see who it is.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is the firm of Scrooge and Marley?
Yes, sir.
I should like to see the head of the firm, if I may.
Oh, very good, sir.
What is it?
A gentleman to see you, Mr. Scrooge.
Huh?
Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Marley's been dead these 7 years tonight. I'm Scrooge.
Well, now, Mr. Scrooge, at this season of the year, it's only fitting that we who are more fortunate should raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. You may not believe it, sir, but many thousands are now in want of common necessities. And hundreds of thousands are in want of the simplest comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Well, there are plenty of prisons, sir.
And the workhouses, they're still in operation, I trust?
I wish I could say they are not, but they are, sir.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor, then?
Both very busy, sir.
I'm glad to hear that. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
No, sir, all these institutions that you mention are flourishing. But it's nevertheless true that some additional provision for the poor and the destitute must be made. A few of us upon change are endeavoring to raise such a fund, you see. And what shall I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, I see. You wish to be anonymous, sir.
I wish to be let alone. I don't make merry myself at Christmas time, and I can't afford to help make a lot of idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that take care of the poor. They cost enough. Let those who are badly off go there.
Many can't go there, sir. And many would rather die.
Then my advice to them is to do so and decrease the surplus population. Besides, I've only your word for it that all this is so.
It's the truth, Mr. Scrooge.
Well, so be it, then. It's not my business. It's enough for a man to understand his own business and not to interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, sir.
I quite understand, Mr. Scrooge. Good
Cratchit.
afternoon.
Show this gentleman out.
Yes, sir. This way, sir, please. Sir, I couldn't help overhearing. I should like to contribute tuppence.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir. It isn't much, but it's all I can afford. But there are others in worse situation than I.
You're a generous fellow. I wish I might say so of your employer.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Cratchit!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yes, sir.
Close the door.
Yes, sir. 24, 31. 1 and carry 3. New scarlet tippet for Tiny Tim. A comb for Martha. 33. 3 and carry 3. A hair ribbon for Belinda. 4, 7, 12, 15.
Cratchit!
Yes, sir.
It's too late to have you go to Fothergill's. He'll be closed up for Christmas like these other fools. We may as well close up the place now.
Yes, sir. It is getting a little dark. Hard to see the figures.
I suppose you'll want the entire day tomorrow.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. And it's not fair, either. But I suppose I can't do anything about it. If I was to stop half a crown of your wages, you'd think yourself very ill-used, I'll be bound.
Well, sir,
Yeah, but you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Once a year. Once a year, indeed. A fine excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose there's no good talking. You must have the whole day. Well, see that you're here all the earlier the next morning. You understand?
Oh, I will, sir. I will indeed. Good night, sir, and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
The office was closed in a twinkling, and Bob Cratchit, with the long ends of his white comforter dangling below his waist, for he boasted no greatcoat, went down a slide on Cornhill 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve, and then ran home to Camden Town as hard as he could pelt to play with his family at Blind Man's Buff. Scrooge, on the other hand, took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and spent the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went to his dismal house. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, had to grope with his hands through the fog and the frost to find the door. Scrooge walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Sitting room, bedroom, lumber room, all as they should be. Nobody under the table, nobody on the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet. Close the door. He locked himself in. He double-locked himself in. And took off his cravat, put on his dressing gown and slippers and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel.
Marley? Marley! I could have sworn I saw... humbug. Marley's been dead these 7 years. Humbug. All humbug. What I need is a good night... What's that? Someone's in the wings. But the door's locked and double locked. Something's... It's coming. Something is... It's coming closer. Outside my door. Stuff. I won't believe it. It's humbug still.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
Marley. Oh, no. What do you want with me?
I want much of you, Ebenezer.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Oh, you're very particular for a ghost. All right, then. Who were you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Jacob Marley. But you're dead. You died 7 years ago.
7 years ago this very night.
You are a ghost, then.
What's wrong, Ebenezer? Don't you believe in me?
I do not.
You doubt your senses, Ebenezer?
Yes. Because a little thing affects them. Slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You can't be a ghost. You may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, or a crumb of cheese, a fragment of an underdone potato. There may be more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you. Humbug. Excuse me. I do believe in you. You are a ghost, Jacob.
Thank you.
But why do you walk the earth, Jacob? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide to witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turn to happiness.
Well, tell me, Jacob, what is that chain you wear around you?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard by my own free will. Is its pattern strange to you, Ebenezer?
Cash boxes, keys, and padlocks, and ledgers, and purses.
Yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 years ago. You have labored on it since, Ebenezer.
Oh, Jacob. Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
Comfort I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger. Weary journeys lie before me.
You travel fast?
Yes, Ebenezer. On the wings of the wind.
7 years dead and traveling all the time?
7 years, Ebenezer. 7 years of remorse. Ebenezer, do you know that no space of regret can make amends for one life's opportunities misused?
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob?
Business? Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy, benevolence, they were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business.
Oh, Jacob, don't take on so now. Jacob.
Listen to me, Ebenezer.
I listen to you, Jacob. Go on, Jacob, now. Speak to me, but don't be so flowery.
Ebenezer, I am here to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate. Do you hear that, Ebenezer?
Yes, Jacob. Yes, you always were a good friend to me, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. But go on. How shall I escape? Oh, I'm afraid, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the only chance and hope, Jacob?
It is your only chance and hope.
Well, then I think I'd rather not.
Without their visit, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow, when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and have it over, Jacob?
Ebenezer, look that for your own sake you remember what has passed between us. And remember, when the bell tolls 1, look for the first spirit.
Molly! Jacob, Molly!
Scrooge awoke. He was lying on his bed fully dressed. Suddenly the curtains of his bed were drawn aside, and Scrooge found himself face to face with the unearthly visitor who drew them as close to it as I am now to you. And I am standing in the spirit at your elbow. It was a strange figure, like a child. Yet not so like a child as like an old man. Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age. And yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. The arms were long and muscular, the hands the same, as if its hold were of uncommon strength.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Who's that?
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come for you.
Are you the spirit, sir, whose coming was foretold me?
I am that spirit.
What are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Wrong past?
No, your past.
But what do you want of me? What brings you here to haunt me?
Your welfare, Ebenezer Scrooge. Rise and walk with me.
Oh, no, not out of the window. I can't do that. I'll fall down. I'm not a spirit. I'm mortal, and I'll fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, follow me.
Where are we? What's become of the city? There's snow upon the ground. Where are we?
These are the shadows of the things that have been. You recognize this countryside?
Oh, I know every inch of it. Every rock, every tree.
And that bleak building over there?
Oh, that building. I was a boy there. Yes, I went to school in that horrible place.
Do you recollect that path?
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange you should forget it so many years. Come, let us go closer. Look through the window into that cold, barren room. What do you see, Ebenezer Scrooge?
I see a boy.
A solitary child, neglected by his family, alone.
Yes, I see. I know that boy. Oh, I was so lonely. Poor boy.
Your lip is trembling, Scrooge. And what is that on your cheek?
It's nothing. Nothing at all. I wish I... it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. The waits came to my door singing Christmas carols last night, and there was a boy like that among them. A poor, pale, thin little boy in a ragged coat. I should like to have given him something, that's all.
Is that all? Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Let us see another Christmas. Do you know this place, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Know it? Know it? Why, this is the counting house where I was apprentice.
Listen.
It's my old master, bless his heart. Old Fezziwig. My master, alive again. And hosted one of his Christmas parties. Listen to him.
Now and curtain. Corkscrew. Thread the needle and back to your places.
And there's Dick Wilkins. Poor Dick. Dear. Yes, and look, there's Mrs. Fezziwig herself, looking younger than any of them. And the tables all loaded with roast and cider, and mince pie and beer. Oh, what a jolly time we used to have.
That carefree young man with a light heart and a gay smile. Do you recognize him?
Yes. Merciful heaven. How happy I was then.
A small matter for old Fezziwig to make those silly folks so full of joy.
Small matter? Small indeed.
Isn't it? He has spent only a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves praise?
It's not that, Spirit. Old Fezziwig has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or heavy. His power lies in words and looks and in things so tiny that it's impossible to count them up. The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost
What is the matter?
Oh, nothing at all, Spirit.
Something, I think.
No.
Speak.
Well, only it's just that I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, Bob Cratchit. That's all.
At last and retire. Bow and curtsy. Thread the needle.
My time grows short, and we have yet another journey to make.
Where now?
Come. This is our last visit to the past, Ebenezer. Here, in this little room, with a fair young girl by your side. Do you recognize yourself, Ebenezer?
No. Spare me this.
You're older now. A man in the prime of life. Your face has begun to wear the signs of care and avarice. Your eyes are greedy. The eager, restless eyes of a miser.
No, please.
She knows it, too. That girl by your side. There are tears in her eyes.
That is little, Ebenezer, to you. Very little. I know that.
Belle, have I changed toward you?
When we were engaged, we were both poor.
Was it better then? Better to be poor?
Better at least to be happy. You're changed. You were another man then.
I was a boy. Do you blame me because I've grown wiser? Have I ever tried to break our engagement?
In words, no. Never.
In what, then?
In a changed nature. In an altered spirit. In everything that made my love of any value in your sight. So I release you from your promise.
Belle!
Oh, at first it may cause you pain to lose me. A very brief pain. But soon it will be dim. Like a half-remembered dream. An unprofitable dream. And you will be glad to be awake from such a dream. May you be happy in the life you have chosen, Ebenezer. For the love of him you once were.
It's enough. Show me no more. Take me home.
These were shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me.
No more.
One shadow more. Come. Do you see this man, Ebenezer Scrooge? This man might have been you. And the woman beside him, your wife. And that girl. That girl might have been your daughter, Ebenezer Scrooge. She might have called you father. She might have been a springtime in the haggard winter of your life.
Spirit, let me go. Show me no more.
Listen now while they speak, Ebenezer.
Belle, I saw an old friend of yours today.
Who was it?
Yes.
How can I? Oh, I know. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window. It wasn't shuttered. And there was a candle inside, so I couldn't help seeing him. His partner, Marley, lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat, all alone. Quite alone in the world, I do believe.
Spirit, I can't bear any more. Leave me. Haunt me no more. Take me back. Take me back.
Good
of Stephen. When the snow lay round about, deep and crisp and even.
You are listening to the Campbell Playhouse, bringing you tonight the 5th annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, produced by Orson Welles and starring Lionel Barrymore as Scrooge. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is the WBBM Air Theater, Wrigley Building, Chicago.
When we bear them scissors, sage and monarch, forth they went together. Through the rude winds wild lament and the bitter weather.
And now, back to the Campbell Playhouse and our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas present from the makers of Campbell's Soups.
On the stroke of 1, Scrooge awakened suddenly and sat him bolt upright in his own bed. You remembered the words of Marley's ghost and wondered from which direction the second specter would appear. At that moment, nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much. Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. And consequently, when no shape appeared, he was taken with a violent fit of trembling. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour went by, yet nothing came. Then, as he sat in his bed, he became aware gradually of a great blaze of ruddy light that seemed to shine upon him from the adjoining room. He got up softly and shuffled in his slippers to the door. It was his own sitting room, no doubt about that. But it had undergone a surprising transformation. The walls and ceiling were so hung with living green that it looked a perfect grove. From every part of which bright, gleaming berries glistened, and such a mighty blaze went roaring up the chimney as had never been known in Scrooge's time, or for many and many a winter season gone. Heaped up on the floor to form a kind of throne were turkeys, geese, game, poultries, great joints of meat, sucking pigs, long wreaths of sausages, mince pies, plum puddings, barrels of oysters, red-hot chestnuts, and seething bowls of punch that made the chamber dim with their delicious steam. In easy state upon this couch, there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see, who bore a glowing torch in shape not unlike Plenty's horn, and held it up, high up to shed its light on Scrooge as he came peeping round the door.
Come in, Ebenezer Scrooge, and know me better, man.
Sure.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
You're different from the other spirit. You're tall, almost a giant. That great torch you carry.
Its light falls into the homes of rich and poor alike.
Spirit, take me where you will. Last time I went against my will and learned a lesson which is working now. If you have anything to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe, Ebenezer Scrooge. Touch my robe.
Where you brought me, Spirit?
An humble dwelling in an humble street.
It's miserable enough.
Yet there is happiness there.
Who are these people? Who's that woman and the children?
These are the family of your clerk, Bob Cratchit. See his wife, dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbon, laying the table for their Christmas dinner. And there, assisting her, is their daughter Belinda, and the young man with a fork in the stuffing. That's Master Peter Cratchit, and the two little Cratchits. Listen, Scrooge.
Here's Martha, Mother.
Bless your heart alive, Martha, my dear. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Mother. Merry Christmas.
How late you are, my dear.
Oh, we'd a deal of work to finish up last night, and we had to clear away this morning.
Well, never mind so long as you're here now. Sit you down before the fire and have a warm. Lord bless you.
Where's Father?
He's been to church with Tiny Tim. They'll be along directly.
How is Tiny Tim, Mother? Any better at all?
Sometimes I think he is. And sometimes I think, oh, dear God, if anything should happen to Tiny Tim.
Mother, you mustn't even think of such a thing.
Here they are! Tiny Tim.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Martha, welcome, my dear.
Merry Christmas, Father. And Tim.
Merry
Christmas, Martha. Oh, Tim, you darling.
Let me take you.
Oh, Father, I'm so glad to be home.
And we're so glad to have you, Martha.
And how did little Tim behave in church, Bob?
Oh, as good as gold and better.
I like church, Mother. Oh, they sang the nicest songs. I hope people saw me there.
saw you there. And why, Tim?
Well, don't you see? Because I'm lame. And if they saw my crutch, it might be pleasant for them to remember on Christmas who it was made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Bless you, my son.
Are we ready to eat, Mother? Come on, let's eat.
Yes, children, we're all ready. Come, take your places now. And I'll wait your turn. There's plenty of stuffing and dressing and plum pudding for all of you. Martha, you take care of Tiny Tim and see that he eats plenty. He must get strong and well. Now, sit down, everyone.
And now, my dears, shall we say grace?
Spirit,
Our Father who art in
tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner carefully preserved.
Oh, no, kind Spirit. Say he'll be spared. Say he'll live.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future Ebenezer, the child will die.
And now, my dears, with such a dinner, a toast. A Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
And now to Mr. Scrooge. I'll give you a toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed, who pays you all 15 shillings a week. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
Oh, my dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Bob. Nobody knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. Long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
And I say God bless him too, Mother, and everyone.
God bless you, dear.
There was nothing of high mark in all this. They were not a handsome family, these Cratchits. They were not well dressed. Their shoes were far from being waterproof. Their clothes were scanty and had known, very likely, the insides of a pawnbroker's. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. And when at last they faded, Scrooge had his eye upon them, and especially on Tiny Tim, until the last. Many calls Scrooge made that night with a ghost of Christmas present. Down among the miners they went who labor in the bowels of the earth, and out to sea among the sailors at their watch, dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. Much they saw, and far they went, and many places they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirits stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful. On foreign lands, and they were close at home. By poverty, and it was rich. In almshouse, hospital, and jail, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out, the spirit left his blessing. It was a long night, if it was only a night. And it was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older. Clearly older.
My life upon this globe is very brief, Ebenezer. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight. Hark. The hour has come.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. There are still more things I wish to learn.
These you will learn from still another spirit. Still another spirit, Ebenezer.
Scrooge looked about him for the ghost that had vanished, and he found himself once more in his bed in his dressing gown and his nightcap on his head. He'd heard the clock strike, and then he remembered the prediction of old Jacob Marley. And lifting up his eyes, beheld the third spirit. A solemn phantom, shrouded in black, draped cloaked and hooded, coming towards him slowly and silently like a mist along the ground.
I know you. You are the ghost of Christmas yet to come. You will show me the shadows of things that have not happened but will happen in the time before us. Answer me, spirit. Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any specter I've seen. Yet I know your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be another man from what I was, lead on. Lead on. Night's waning fast. Time's precious. Spirit, why have you brought me here again? Here to Bob Cratchit's home? But it's not the same. Why is it so quiet? So very quiet here.
Mother. Mother, please.
Oh, my son. My little son. Tiny Tim. I loved him so.
Oh, Mother, dear, you mustn't. It's almost time for Father to be home. Don't let him see you crying.
Yes. Yes, Martha. He's late tonight. He walks slower than he used to. And yet I've known him to walk very fast indeed with Tiny Tim on his shoulder.
So have I, Mother.
But he was light to carry. And his father loved him so that it was no trouble. No trouble at all. Bob.
Good evening, my dear.
You're late, Bob.
Yes, I'm sorry, my dear. I went to the churchyard today. I wish you could have gone with me. It would have done your heart good to see how sweet and green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him. Yes, I promised Tiny Tim we'd walk there on a Sunday.
Father, dear.
It's God's will, Bob.
I'm trying to understand it, my dear. My little son, Tiny Tim. And I loved him so.
Oh, that's cruel. Cruel. Spirit, can't you give me one ray of hope that I may change all that? That Tiny Tim may live? Where are you taking me now? Here, on a common street, Spirit? What is there for me to learn here? Who are those men?
I don't know much about it. Either way, I only know he's dead.
Where did he die?
Last night, I believe.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral for Palm life. I don't know anybody to go to it. Suppose we make up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Come to think of it, I'll bet I was his best friend.
What?
We used to nod to each other when we met in the street. Spirit, tell me, who is this man that died? Is there no one to mourn the poor creature? No one to follow him to the grave? Perhaps they'll give him a green grave at least, like poor Tiny Tim. Perhaps... Spirit, where are we now? Merciful heaven, a churchyard. Overrun by grass and weeds, choked with too much burying, desolate, lonely, crumbling gravestone. Spirit, before I draw nearer to that gravestone, answer me one question. Are these shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Huh? Will you not speak to me, Spirit? What is that grave to which you point? There's writing on that stone. The name on the gravestone is Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge? Oh, no, Spirit, no. Hear me. I'm not the man I was. Why show me this if I'm past all hope? Tell me that I can change these dreadful shadows you've shown me by an altered life. I'll honor Christmas in my heart, and I'll try to keep it all the year. I'll live in the past, the present, and the future, and I'll not shut out the lessons that they teach. Tell me, Spirit. Oh, go on. Tell me. Tell me that I can sponge away the writing on that stone, Spirit. I beg you, Spirit. I beg you. Spirit, I promise on my knees. I promise I'll... What's this? It's my own bed, boy. Oh, I'm home. In my own bed. In my own room. And the sun. The sun's shining. It's clear. It's bright. No fog. What a beautiful day. Oh, glorious. The boy. Oh, boy.
Yes, sir?
What's today?
What's that, sir?
Well, what day is it, my fine fella?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Ha-ha! Christmas Day! Then I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. All in one night. Heaven be praised.
How's that, sir?
Listen, my lad. You know where the poulterer is in the next street?
I should say I do.
Intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey that was hanging in the window?
The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Yes, my buck?
It's hanging there now, sir.
That's wonderful. Go around, will you? And tell him to send it to Bob Cratchit and his family on Broad Street. And mind you, they're not to know who paid for it. Go along. Hurry, my lad. Here, wait a minute. Here's £0.50 for your trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and a Merry Christmas, sir.
And a Merry Christmas to you, my boy. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather, as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas! A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. Woo! My dear sir, how do you do?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who came to my office in regard to that charity?
Why, yes, sir.
A Merry Christmas to you.
Yes, sir.
Allow me to ask your pardon, sir. And will you have the goodness to accept? I prefer to whisper this.
But, Lord bless me. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
If you please. No, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor?
Oh, my dear sir, I don't know what to say to such munificence.
No, don't say anything, please. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will indeed.
Thank you. I'm much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. Merry Christmas.
Next morning, Scrooge was early at his office. He went early for a reason. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he'd set his heart upon. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15, no Bob. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come in. At last he came. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. He's on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock.
15 at 21, 6 and carry the 1 and 24 and carry the 2, 31 and 8 and 9.
Hello, you, Cratchit.
Yes, sir.
Step this way, Cratchit, if you please. Cratchit, what do you mean by coming in at this time of day?
Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I am behind my time.
You are. Yes. I think you are.
Oh, it's only once a year, Mr. Scrooge. It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir.
I'll tell you what, my friend. I'll not stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, Bob Cratchit, I'm about to raise your salary.
Mr. Scrooge, are you quite yourself, sir?
No, thank heaven, I'm not quite myself. Merry Christmas, Bob. Merry Christmas, my good fellow. A merrier Christmas than I've given you in many a year. I shall raise your salary, and we'll see what we can do for Tiny Tim and the rest of your family. Huh? We'll discuss it this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Bob, make up a fire. Make it up and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. To Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them. His own heart laughed. That was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards, and it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, of all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare his room. And heaven takes her leave. And heaven
You have just heard our annual presentation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, starring Lionel Barrymore, brought to you by the makers of Campbell Soups. And now, here is Orson Welles.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the program, it's my custom, as you know, to present you with a few words of introduction, our guest of the evening. With your consent, I shall dispense with this tonight. To introduce tonight's guest to the Campbell Playhouse audience, or to any American audience, is an extravagant and superfluous procedure. For if ever an actor has won for himself a lasting place in the hearts of his fellow countrymen through years of unsparing and inspiring service, that actor is Lionel Barrymore. Mr. Lionel Barrymore.
Oh, thank you, Orson Welles. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the fourth year I've had the pleasure of appearing in the Christmas Carol here on the Campbell Playhouse, and I assure you all it's a pleasure that never tires. As long as I can remember, this has been one of my favorite stories. When we were children, it was read to us regularly at this time of year, as it is to many millions of children right now. And like many of them, I'm sure, the three of us, Ethel, Jack, and I, with the aid of a sheet and some old ironware, made a play of it. As I remember, we had 3 Scrooges in that production.
Who played Tiny Tim?
I think we had 3 Tiny Tims, too. But seriously, I can think of no part that I've enjoyed playing again and again as much as I have the part of that squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner, Ebenezer Scrooge. And I can think of no happier or more suitable choice for the makers of Campbell Soups to offer the people of America as their Christmas present each year than Charles Dickens' well-beloved story, A Christmas Carol. Good night, Orson. Good night, everybody. And a Merry, Merry Christmas to you all.
Good night to you, Mr. Barrymore. Thank you, sir, and a Merry Christmas to you. Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night, we're happy to announce our version of a great and truly American story by a great American novelist, Come and Get It, by Edna Ferber. Against a background of the mighty forests of Miss Ferber's own Wisconsin, it tells a stirring tale of the men and women who live and die in the woods, in order that lumber may come down the rivers every spring into the cities of the modern world. Like so many of Miss Ferber's epic romances of American life, it was made from a best-selling novel into a highly successful motion picture. Now we bring it to you on the air. The story of a man and his son and the girl they both loved, Lotta. Lotta, played for us by one of the loveliest and most accomplished of Hollywood's younger dramatic actresses, Miss Frances D. And so until next week, until Come and Get It, my sponsors, the makers of Campbell Soups, and all of us in the Campbell Playhouse remain as always obediently yours. But just one moment. Please, Benny, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the night before Christmas. And all through the Campbell Playhouse, not a creature is stirring that doesn't join Lionel Barrymore in wishing you a Merry, Merry Christmas. This goes for all of us, from my sponsor, myself, or for all of us, from Don McBain, who runs the machinery in the control room, to Miss Helgren, who types the Campbell Playhouse scripts. A Merry Christmas. From Benny Herman and his band of Merry Melodians. Merry Christmas. From Max Tears, canary-throated chorister. A very Merry Christmas. And from Harry Essman and Cliff Thorson and his crew of sound effect technicians. A Merry Christmas. And from Orson Welles and his considerable aggregation of dramatic talent, who include, among others, Mr. Everett Sloane, Mr. Frank Reddick, Mr. Erskine Sanford, Mr. George Coulouris, Mr. Ray Collins, Miss Georgia Backus, Miss B. Benaderet, and many, many others, a Merry Christmas. How about it, everybody? A Merry Christmas. That's right. And now, as Tiny Tim says,
God bless us, everyone.
The makers of Campbell Soups join Orson Welles in inviting you to be with us in the Campbell Playhouse again next Sunday evening when we bring you Edna Ferber's Come and Get It with Miss Frances D. as our guest. Meanwhile, if you have enjoyed our 5th annual presentation of A Christmas Carol, won't you tell your grocer so this week when you order Campbell Soups? This is Ernest Chappell saying thank you and a very Merry Christmas to you all. Columbia Broadcasting System.
This is WBBM Chicago.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Colgate-Palmolive Peat Company, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, take this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas. And now, Colgate Dental Cream presents the Dennis Day Show, written by Frank Galen, with Sharon Douglas, Dink Trout, Paula Winslow, Charles Dant in the orchestra, yours truly, Vern Smith, and starring our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing A Gal in Calico.
Met a gal in Calico way down in Santa Fe. I used to be her Sunday beau till I rode away. Do I want her? Do I want her love? Yes, sirree. Will I win her? Will I win her love? Wait and see. Working with the rodeo. Go from town to town. See most every kind of gal. every kind of gown. But who made my heart sing? Yippee-I, yippee-oh, my little gal in calico. I'm gonna quit the rodeo, gonna settle down, buy a boat, a calico, for a wedding gown. Then will I fence her in? Yippee-I, yippee-oh, my little gal in calico.
Most of you know our young hero, Dennis, very well by this time, but those of you who will be making his acquaintance for the first time on these Wednesday nights would probably like to know just what sort of person he is. Well, let's ask the folks who know him best. First, there's his landlady, Mrs. Anderson, who runs the boarding house in Weaverville where Dennis rooms. Mrs. Anderson, what's your honest opinion of Dennis Day?
My opinion of Dennis Day is that he's a 22-year-old boy.
Well, yes, of course, but what sort of 22-year-old boy?
Well, I'm sorry, but that's as far as I'd care to go on.
Well, it's a fact that Dennis has never managed to get into Mrs. Anderson's good graces. Now, Mr. Anderson, on the other hand, kind of likes him, although he's never come right out and admitted it. And just why haven't you, Mr. Anderson?
Well, it all goes back to when I first married my dear wife. Or, as I like to call her, the big woman.
Go on, Mr. Anderson.
You see, when we were married, we made a pact, Poopsie and I. We decided we'd always think and act as one person. Of course, I didn't know then that the one person would turn out to be Poopsie.
Oh, I see. Well, there's one member of the Anderson family who likes Dennis and makes no bones about it. That's their daughter, Mildred, our young hero's girlfriend. Right now, on this fine Christmas morning, she's carefully planted herself under the mistletoe in the Anderson living room as Dennis comes down for breakfast.
Morning, Mildred. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Dennis.
Boy, I sure am hungry this morning. See you after breakfast, huh?
Why, Dennis, wait.
What's the matter?
Well, don't you notice? I'm standing someplace.
Well, that happens very often when you're not sitting down.
I don't mean that silly. Now, look around carefully. Don't you see anything different?
You're wearing a new dress?
No, higher.
You washed your face?
Dennis, what's over my head?
Hair.
I mean on the chandelier. Don't you see what's tied to it? A piece of mistletoe.
Oh, I see now. Pretty, isn't it?
Oh. Dennis, I'm standing right under it.
Well, don't worry. A little thing like that couldn't hurt you if it did fall off.
Didn't you ever hear of mistletoe, Dennis? If a man happens to find a girl standing under it, he can kiss her.
Gosh, really?
Yes. And you happen to find me standing under it. Well.
Oh, I couldn't take advantage of an accident.
But it wasn't an accident, Dennis. I stood here on purpose.
Mildred.
I did it so you'd kiss me. I want you to kiss me.
You women are all alike. No one wants my brains, only my kisses.
Dennis, I want you.
I know how desirable I am, but you should fight it.
Oh. I'm tired of arguing about it. Come here, Dennis Day.
Please, Mildred, you're mussing my hair.
I don't care. Now stand still.
Well, so that's the sort of thing that goes on in my house.
Mother.
Hello, Mrs. Anderson. What's new?
Don't put on any act with me. I saw you kissing my daughter. Give me one reason why I should walk in and find such a thing going on.
We didn't expect you.
Well, it was all my fault, Mother. Really, it was. You see, it's Christmas, and there was mistletoe, and I was standing under it, and... Well, anyway, it was only a little peck on the cheek.
That's true, Mrs. Anderson, and I promise it won't happen again until we've been married for years.
Married, indeed. Young man, you've been nothing but trouble to me since you began boarding here. I suggest that you look for another place to live as soon as you can.
But, Mrs. Anderson...
That's my last word on the subject.
Gee, Now I'm in a fine mess.
Golly, I'm sorry, Dennis. You wouldn't have gotten in trouble if only I hadn't insisted on kissing you.
Oh, that's all right. As a matter of fact, I kind of like being kissed.
Oh, did you, Dennis?
Yeah. I see now why so many people speak so well of it.
Oh, gee, I hope Mother doesn't really make you move.
No, it wouldn't be much of a Christmas if she did.
Oh, dear, I nearly forgot with so many things going on.
What?
There's a little present for you inside, underneath the tree. For me.
Gosh, thanks, Mildred. I hope you won't be too disappointed, but I didn't have enough money to buy you an expensive present this year.
Oh, well, that's all right, Dennis. I'll be every bit as happy with a present that costs practically nothing.
I didn't have enough to buy you one of those either.
Oh, well, don't feel badly. I understand.
Next year I'll be able to give you something real nice to make up for it after my invention is put on the market.
Your invention?
Yeah, I haven't told you because I wanted it to be a surprise. You see, one day last week, Mrs. Courtney came into the drugstore to get something for a terrible headache. So I made up a wet pack out of some stuff I found, and she put it on her head.
And it cured her headache?
No, it made her headache worse, but it curled her hair.
Oh, my goodness.
I haven't told a soul yet, but I think I've invented a permanent wave solution. It should be worth millions.
Oh, I should say so. Have you tried it on anyone besides Mrs. Courtney?
No, but Mr. Willoughby's police dog sat in some the other day.
And what happened?
Well, the part that barks is still police dog, but the part that wags is pure French poodle.
That's marvelous.
I'm improving it all the time. Why, just yesterday I put some powder from France I found in the place.
Oh, golly, I've just had the most wonderful idea.
What?
My mother's got to know about this. Why, when she sees what you've got hold of, she'll never let you move out.
Oh, she won't believe it's any good if I invented it.
Oh, but that's just it. She's got to try some herself.
But how are we going to get her to do that?
Oh, look, she's in the next room. You go in and hint in a subtle way that she doesn't look quite as attractive for Christmas as she might. Her hair looks a little stringy. And then you show her your invention and ask her to try some on her head.
Golly, I'll do it. I've got a jar of it right here in my pocket.
Good. Oh, but you've got to be very diplomatic about telling her she could look more attractive.
Here goes. Mrs. Anderson?
Yes?
You know, I was just thinking, you're pretty ugly today. I don't mean all over, just above your neck.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Mrs. Anderson, wait, you don't understand. What I meant is you're beautiful, only your hair kind of spoils it.
My hair?
Yeah, it's so straight. Why, if you had curly hair, you could look just like Lana Turner all over instead of just locally.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Dennis. Oh, but my hair's always been straight. Even a permanent doesn't curl it.
Well, I have some stuff right here that will, Mrs. Anderson. If you'll just put some on your head in 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be amazed.
Well, if it's as good as all that, I certainly will try it.
That's swell. Come out and show Mildred. Well, Oh, good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, Dennis. My lover girl in there?
Yes, but don't go in, Mr. Anderson. You're going to get a surprise in a minute.
I am?
Yeah. How would you like it if your wife suddenly became Lana Turner?
Outside of Lana Turner suddenly becoming my wife, I can't think of anything nicer.
Well, you just wait.
You really think it worked, Dennis?
Oh, sure. And with that French powder I put in yesterday to make it smell nice, she'll just love it.
Well, what kind of French powder was it?
Oh, I don't know. Only the name of the maker was on the box. Some fellow named Plaster of Paris.
Plaster of Paris? Oh, Dennis, no.
I did something?
Did something? Oh, we're finished forever.
Mildred, what do you mean?
Yes, what are you two talking about?
Well, how do I look? Well, my head feels awfully peculiar.
Oh, really, Mother?
Yes. How do you like it, Herbert?
Oh, very nice, Poopsie. That's the first sensible hat I've ever seen you wear.
Hat? I'm not wearing a hat.
You mean that's you?
Well, certainly. This is my new hairdo.
Don't you think you overdoed it?
What do you mean? Get out of the way so I can see myself in the mirror. Why, I don't... Ah! Dennis! My hair! It's ruined! Listen to it.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about, Mrs. Anderson. I'll have your head in fine shape as soon as I get hold of a hammer.
Oh, a hammer?
Yeah, that's the only way I can get that shiny white crust off your head.
Fine thing. It was supposed to be Lana Turner and me. Now it's the egg and I.
Oh, here, use this, Dennis. The fire tongs.
Okay. Hold still, Mrs. Anderson.
Oh.
There, see?
Dennis Day, I told you once today to leave this house as soon as you can. Well, I can't wait. You're leaving this instant.
Mrs. Anderson, I was only trying to help.
Get out of my sight. That's final. Come, Herbert.
Gee, didn't turn out to be a very Merry Christmas, did it, Mildred?
No, I'm afraid not. Oh, but don't worry, Dennis. We'll find some way to see each other.
Gee, I hope so.
Oh, well, Dennis, listen.
Yeah, a bunch of kids singing carols. It'd be kind of nice to have them in, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Open the door, Dennis. Let's have them in.
Okay. Hey, fellas, come on in. Mrs. Anderson may have something for you.
Okay, come on, guys.
You better shake the snow off your shoes. Mrs. Anderson is very particular about her rugs.
Come on in, boys.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, what about that little fellow out there in the snow? Isn't he coming in?
Nah, he don't sing with us. He just follows us around.
Yeah, everywhere we go, he tags along. We can't get rid of him.
He's a pest.
Hey, fella, why don't you come up here on the porch? You'll catch cold out there. Come on up. Don't be afraid. What's your name?
Cecil?
Oh, your name is Cecil, huh?
Yes, sir. Cecil.
Well, come on up, Cecil.
Yes, sir.
See, you are catching cold.
I'm not cold.
You're not crying, are you?
Yes, sir.
You are? But this is Christmas. You shouldn't be crying on Christmas.
Yes, sir.
What are you crying about, Cecil?
They won't let me sing with them.
They won't let you sing with them? Why not?
I got braces on my teeth. They say I don't sing good.
Well, I don't believe it. I'll just bet that you're a real good singer.
No, I'm not. I don't really sing good.
You don't?
No, sir, I don't sing good, but I like to sing anyway. I like to sing more than anything in the whole world.
Sure you do. And that's what makes singing really important. To want to sing from the bottom of your heart, whether you can really sing or not.
It is?
It certainly is. You know, once upon a time, there was a little boy just like you. Well, this little boy wanted to sing more than anything else in the whole world.
Honest?
Uh-huh. And one night he had a vision. And the vision told him never to stop singing, because someday he would sing for the king.
What's a vision?
A vision? Oh, a vision is something like a dream, I think. Well, this little boy...
What was his name?
His name? Oh, I don't know what his name was. You see, it was a very long time ago.
How long ago?
Oh, a long, long time ago.
Did he sing over the radio?
No, this was long before radios and phonographs and moving pictures.
Before Jack Benny?
Yeah, even before that.
Gosh.
It was a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away. The little boy came from a very poor family. Though his father and mother worked hard, they could barely buy enough bread to eat. The boy had no shoes to wear, and his clothes were ragged and torn. But he didn't care, for he was happy. He had a song in his heart.
Life is fair on a summer's day. Sweet the western wind is blowing. La, 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 la.
One day his father called the boy to his side and said, "Why is it, my son, that you always sing? We are poor and have little for you to sing and be happy about." And the boy answered, "I am happy, Father, for someday I know I shall sing for the king." And his father said, "That foolish vision of yours. You must forget such nonsense. For a poor ragged boy like you will never sing for the king." And the boy said, "Told me so. It was so clear to me, Father. A voice spoke to me and said that I had been chosen to sing for the king." The boy's father was sorely troubled. He shook his head sadly and sighed. "My son, you must put such idle dreams out of your head. For tomorrow you shall start to work for the rich landowner who lives on the hill." "Gladly, Father, and I shall sing as I work, for someday my song will be heard by the king." The boy's father returned to his work, knowing that his words could not shake his son's faith in his vision, with his tattered clothes flapping in the breeze, and his shoeless feet kicking up the dust. The dust rose and danced with the sunbeams, leaving a happy trail behind the boy as he sang.
Life is fair on a summer's day. Sweet the western wind is blowing. La, 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 la. And so the boy went to work for the rich landowner. He tended to the flocks of sheep and to the goats. At dusk, when the boy would drive the flocks home from the meadows, the hooves of the animals would make a gentle sound on the road. And with this as music, the boy would sing. Life is fair on a summer's day. Sweet the western wind is blowing. La, 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 la. One day, not long after, the landowner called the boy to him and said,
Hearken to me, boy. I pay you to care for my flocks, not to fill the air with your incessant song.
I'm sorry, Master. I meant to bother no one with my singing. The sheep and the goats don't mind.
I am neither a sheep or a goat, so I mind.
You see, Master, I must sing, for someday my song will be heard by the king.
Ah, you're mad, boy. Yea, mad and also stupid. Sing for the king. Be gone with you. Be gone with you.
But, Master, I shall sing for the king. You will see. And so it came to pass that the boy, laughed at and ridiculed by all who knew him, left and went to the great city to sing for the king. Never had the boy seen such a city. Great buildings lined the streets, and the greatest of all was the palace of the king. There were many steps that led up to the palace gates, and the gates themselves were as tall as a tree. He felt very small and afraid as he ascended the steps. He would have run away, but he kept thinking of his vision. With this to give him strength, he was no longer afraid. He climbed, and finally, tired and out of breath, he reached the uppermost step. Smoothing down his ragged garments, he approached the gates. And hesitantly, he knocked upon them. He waited breathlessly as the gates slowly opened.
Who knocks at the palace of the king?
The boy looked up at the tall guard and said, I did.
Ragged beggar, what is it you want?
I am not a beggar.
Speak up! What is it you want?
I have come because of a vision. I have come to sing for the king.
You? Sing for the king? You, a ragged beggar boy, have come to sing for the king!
The guard laughed and laughed. Other guards came, and they too joined in the laughter. They laughed even more when the boy told them of his vision. Then, tiring of their laughter, they picked the boy up and cast him down the many steps to the street below. And slammed the gates shut. The boy picked himself up out of the dirt at the bottom of the steps, and sadly, with his head bent, he walked away from the palace. That night, weary from his journey and unable to travel further, the boy stopped to rest by the side of a hill. Sheep were grazing nearby, and as he fell asleep, the boy knew that he would never sing again. He was awakened that night by a strange light, a light that transformed everything about him, a light from a great star that shone above. There wasn't a sound. All was hushed. A hush, a quiet, a silence beyond words to describe. Even the sheep on the hillside and the doves in the trees seemed to sense the silence. And then the light seemed to become even brighter, bathing all in a glow that made them one. The boy, the hill, the earth, the grass, the animals, all became one, and one alone. The boy raised himself from the ground, not daring to breathe. Then he felt a song swelling in his throat. He could contain himself no longer. Something was compelling him to sing. He stood up straight and small on the hill. What if they had laughed at him? What if his song was unwanted? He felt he must sing now, here now in this divine night. So he stood. His tattered clothes, shimmering in the light of the star above, were like the raiment of angels. And he sang. Ah.
Maria Grazia plena.
And when he finished his song, the boy saw a man coming up the hill toward him. The man was a shepherd, and he carried a crooked staff. The boy said, "I thought I was alone here on the hill." And the shepherd said, "You will never be alone again, boy. No man will ever be alone again." And then the shepherd turned and pointed down the hill. And the boy looked and saw a small stable nestled below. And the shepherd, turning to the boy, said, "Tonight, my son, you sang for a king. Verily, the King of Kings." And so you see, Cecil, if your heart is full of song, you must sing. Oh, I didn't know you folks were listening.
It was a lovely story, Dennis.
It was beautiful, Dennis.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was a very nice story.
And I'm sorry I got so angry with you. I hope you forgive me, Dennis.
Oh, sure. That's all right, Mrs. Anderson.
Cecil, would you like to sing with us?
Oh, gosh, I'd love to sing with you. I'd love to sing with you. Will you let me, honest? Will you let me sing with you?
Sure. How about we all sing together?
Colgate-Palmolive Peat Company, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, hopes you've enjoyed a very pleasant Christmas and sends to every one of you best wishes for the new year. Dennis Day can be heard with Jack Benny every Sunday. And be sure and be with us again next week for another Dennis Day program. More songs, more adventures in the life of our star, Dennis Day. Christmas story, The Boy Who Sang for the King, was written by Frank Tashlin. Bobby Driscoll, who played the part of Cecil, appeared through the courtesy of Walt Disney and can be seen in the Technicolor picture Song of the South. All the other parts in the Christmas story were played by Dennis, of course. The special musical background was by Charles Dant. This is Vern Smith speaking.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
We present now a special transcribed Christmas message from the President of the United States to the American people.
My fellow countrymen, all over our country and in many other parts of the world, men, women, and children are preparing to celebrate the birthday of Christ. Never before in our lives has a Christmas seemed so important. I'm not thinking of turkey dinners and stacks of gifts. I mean the quiet, reverent celebration of faith, hope, and love, born in a manger in Bethlehem. Across all the continents of this world, peace-loving people today feel apprehension and loneliness and fear. Many have forgotten the humble surroundings of the Nativity and how from a straw-littered stable shone a light which for nearly 20 centuries has given men strength, comfort, and peace of mind. At this Christmas time, we should renew our faith in God. We celebrate the hour in which God came to man. It is fitting that we should turn to him. Many of us are fortunate enough to celebrate Christmas at our own fireside. But there are many others who are away from their homes and loved ones on this day. Thousands of our boys are on the cold and dreary battlefield of Korea. But all of us, at home, at war, wherever we may be, are within reach of God's love and power. We can all pray. All of us should pray. We should ask the fulfillment of God's will. We should ask for courage, for wisdom, for the quietness of soul which comes alone to them who place their lives in his hands. We should pray for a peace which is based on righteousness. The nation already is in the midst of a crusade of prayer. On the last Sunday of the old year, there will be special services devoted to a revival of faith in God. I call upon all of you to enlist in this common cause. I call upon you no matter what your spiritual allegiance may be. We're all joined in the fight against the tyranny of communism. Communism is godless. Democracy is the foundation of faith. Faith in oneself, faith in one's neighbors, faith in God. Democracy's most powerful weapon is not a gun, a tank, or a bomb. It is faith. Faith in the brotherhood and dignity of man under God. Let us pray at this Christmas time for the wisdom, the humility, and the courage to carry on in this faith.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard President Truman's Christmas message to the American people. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
In answer to many thousands of requests from its listeners, the National Broadcasting Company is happy to bring you Adventures in Time and Space, transcribed in future tense.
Dimension X.
This is the story of Riesling, the singer of the spaceways. You've probably sung his songs in school, in English, French, or German. The language doesn't matter, but it was an earth tongue. But the real story of Riesling is not found in the footnotes of a scholar's critique or a publisher's biography. It is in the memories of the old-time spacemen, the pioneers who pushed the thundering old-fashioned rockets to the far, strange ports that are our commonplace heritage. These men know the true story of Riesling.
The arching sky is calling spacemen back to their trade. All hands stand by, free falling, and the light below us fade. Outride the sons of terror, far drives the thundering jet, up leaps the race of earthmen, out far and onward yet.
When I first met Riesling, he was hustling drinks in the Twin Moons Bar at Drywater, Mars. He'd won a guitar off a Chinese barkeep at Luna City by cheating at one thumb, and he made his whiskey by singing in the bar and passing the hat.
Listen to her, Hudson. Don't she strum pretty? Like a 16-year-old gal.
Say, how much you collect on that last song?
$3 Martian and a slug. Al grabbed it from my bill. He don't trust me no more. Funny, never did have no luck with hound dogs nor Martian barkeep.
Hey, Riesling, look over there by the bar. There's an Institute 4 striper giving you the eye. Know him?
Captain Hicks off the Goshawk.
He's sure giving you the once-over. Maybe he's got a job.
They don't make never no mind to me. I've been blacklisted. Hicks logged me for making up a song on watch. Right fine song, too.
Hold it. Here comes the brass arm.
Riesling, I've been looking for you.
I've been right here, Skipper. You saw to that.
I need a jetman on the Goshawk.
Interesting. Real interesting.
Well?
I got news for you, Skipper. You blacklisted me, remember?
Well, you kept your nose clean, and we need an experienced man.
Been a little changing down aft in the Goshawk, ain't there, Skipper?
How'd you know that?
You got that new atomic pile drive. Last 3 of them tea kettles blew somewhere in the asteroids.
Look, it's double pay, but if you're scared...
Scared? Listen, fella. For double pay, I'd jump off the top of the Harriman Tower if you allowed me rubber heels for the landing.
All right, then. You show up tonight to sign the book. Sober.
Got no choice, Skipper. Money and me is total strangers.
We lift at 11:30 Mars time. Sober, you understand, Riesling?
You taking the job?
Well, that Goshawk is one stinking old tub. Her engine's got more bugs than a beagle dog in spring. And that new drive is about as safe as a pretty gal in the Ozarks. But I reckon she'll do for one more trip.
Welcome home, Riesling.
Hi, Jimmy Legs. Meet my friend Hertzman. He's signing on as a wiper. This here's Jimmy Legs Casey. He's bosun. Can't hold his liquor no more than a sieve, poor boy.
Mr. Casey.
Riesling, you sober enough to sign the book?
Drunk or sober, I'll make my mark. Stand aside.
3 X's?
Took me a middle name.
Yeah, you 2 lay below. And Hertzman.
Aye, sir.
Get him sobered up before the skipper makes rounds.
Jimmy Legs, I'm sober as a hanging judge.
Yeah? Well, you can leave that bottle here.
What bottle?
The one in your back pocket. Oh, glass buttons, maybe, huh? Give it here.
Jimmy Legs, I swear I'm going to write a song about you.
Go ahead, threaten me. Now get below. We raise ship in 30 minutes.
Hi, Skipper.
Riesling, what the devil are you doing up here on the bridge without permission?
Figured I'd take a little stroll.
Riesling, get below before I have...
Hold on, Skipper. You'll have that gold braid just crawling up your arm. I'm up here on business.
Well?
That number 2 jet ain't fit. Cadmium dampers are warped.
Why tell me? Tell the chief engineer.
I did. He says they'll hold.
Well?
He's wrong.
He's wrong. He's got a Harriman Institute degree in power electronics. And some drunk space rat says he's wrong.
Skipper, I was damping jets when that shirt-tail Tad wore pins for buttons.
I've got no time for you, Riesling. Casey, sound takeoff.
Aye, sir.
I'm telling you, Skipper, that number 2 jet's gonna blow. Dampers warp crooked like a turtle's back.
Riesling, drag your deadhead out of here. Get below.
Go ahead from control tower, Captain.
All right, Casey. Fire 1 and 4.
Hawk-class Slunker had to blast for 3 watches before going into free flight. Riesling and I had the second watch. Damping was done by hand in those days with a multiplying vernier and a danger peeper. And as long as the peeper ticked off slow and steady, we knew the ship was safe. For a while. Hey, Riesling, you better stow that guitar. If Jimmy Legs catches it, he'll blow a gasket.
Don't worry, I can damp this tea kettle in my sleep.
How's number 2?
All right, so far. Did you ever hear that song about Hicks, the one that got me blacklisted?
Oh, the skipper is the father of his crew, a gentle guiding light to me and you. But on Mars he likes his women if they walk or if they're swimming or if they've got 6 arms instead of 2.
Hey, the second verse is better.
Now the skipper likes his liquor by the quart. Yes, he'd go from Mars to Venus for a snort. He'll drink rocket fuel and...
Hell, hi, Skip. Didn't see you come in.
You were too busy, eh? Who's watching the gauge?
I got an eye on it. Don't you fret none.
Riesling, I'm going to fix it so you can't get a berth on a rocket-powered pogo stick. Report to Casey under arrest.
I don't rightly think I will.
You what?
You kind of forget, Skipper. According to Space Code, you can't remove a jetman till the end of the watch, right?
Now, look, you corn-fed space lawyer.
Now, is that a rule or ain't it?
Riesling, your shift is over at 2300. And I'll see you ride the rest of the way in slop locker.
Maybe. Maybe. In the meantime, you clear out of my power room. I gotta make me up a 3rd verse for my song.
I got it. Power room.
Damp number 2 a point.
Number 2, aye.
Hey, let me have that mic. Jimmy Legs, is that forced dry boil up there?
Give me that, Casey. Riesling, I've taken just about enough from you.
And I've got a little news for you, Skipper. Number 2 jet is bulging like a fat lady in a satin skirt.
Listen, you clown, that's...
Skipper, I think I'm gonna junk my song and start over. I could do much better
This
on
is
you.
the last time, Riesling. Damp number 2 a point.
Sure. Look out, Hurtman. I'll take it. You watch the gauge. Now.
Riding easy here.
She's bucking a little. Riesling, hit the emergency. She won't. Damn! It's that door. There go the lights. Riesling, stay down behind the baffle. I've got to take a look. It's radioactive. Look out. I've got to piece the hot stuff out of the tube.
What's going on down there?
Shut up, Jimmy Legs. I'm busy. She's tight now.
What happened?
Number 2 blew, you lunk-headed space rat.
You all right?
A little sunburn. The lights are gone. What's the matter with the emergency circuits?
Riesling.
Jimmy Legs, get some lights down here. It's dark. Get the emergency light on.
They're on, Riesling. They went on after the blast. The lights are on.
What are you talking about? Jimmy Legs. Jimmy Legs, turn on the lights. It's dark. Turn on the lights.
That blue radioactive glow from the jets was the last thing Riesling ever saw. His optic nerve was burned out in an instant. He was in sick bay on the rest of the trip, and on the swing back, we set Riesling down at Drywater, Mars. Look out for the cable, Riesling.
Thanks, Hertzman.
Hey,
Riesling!
That you, Jimmy Legs?
Hold up a minute, will you? Oh, Riesling...
Jimmy Legs, I promised I'd write a song about you, didn't I?
Sure, Riesling, sure.
Can't seem to sing like I used to.
Look, Riesling, the men up on the bridge feel kind of bad about this.
Yeah? Why didn't they think of that when Riesling told them that damper was shot?
Now, Hertzman, that's all over.
Sure. That's all forgotten. Riesling, let's get down to the Twin Moons before I vomit.
Now, hold it. The skipper feels pretty bad about the whole thing, Riesling.
Kind of late for that, Jimmy Legs. Feeling sorry don't hold no corn.
The boys passed the hat. The skipper kicked in half a month's pay.
Did he now? Then on principle, I suppose I ought to tell him to stuff it back up the jets. But you can't buy no drinking whiskey on principle. I'll take it.
Here you are. I'll get it. I'll be seeing you, Riesling.
Sure, Jimmy Lee. Sure. Come on, Hertzman. Let's get that drink.
That was all. Just another space bum who didn't have the good sense to finish before his luck ran out. Well, Riesling holed up at the Twin Moons till his money was gone. Then he hooked a ride on a crawler over to Marsopolis. It was a boom town then, with an industrial district mushrooming between the Lesser and Grand Canals. I ran into Riesling about 2 months later, playing his guitar on a jetty that ran out into the canal. He had a dirty rag tied over his eyes with a jetman's knot, and his hat was on the wharf beside him.
Riesling! Who's that? Wait a minute. Hertzman.
Yeah, how you been?
Passable. Say, is this a Venusian dime?
Ah, it's a slug.
I figured.
Well, how's it going? Singing again?
Some. Working saloons, mostly. But I've been thinking some funny songs, Hertzman. The words come out different than they used to. Come on along the canal with me.
Sure. Here, take my arm.
I know the way. That's a funny thing, Hertzman. I figure I know it better than other folks. Look back there, towards the city. What do you see?
Factory towers. Smell them from here.
But it don't seem that way to me. I remember them old buildings, old before Bible times on Earth. Thin and graceful like the fairy palaces my Grammy used to tell about down home in the hills.
Well, they've torn them down now, or else blocked them up with cinder bricks.
Hertzman, when I stand out here on the canal, I can see it the way it used to be. The water, ice blue with the stars shining up out of it. Way off there, the city with the towers sweeping up like a bird flying off a tree. I can see it.
It's the dirtiest stinkhole in the system.
Not always. Depends on how you see it.
Bone tie the race that raised the towers, forgotten are their lores. Long gone the gods who shed the tears that lap these crystal shores. Slow beats the time-worn heart of Mars beneath this icy sky. The thin air whispers voicelessly that all who live must die.
You make that up? Why don't you go home, Riesling?
Home? Earth. I've been thinking about that, Hertzman. When I was a youngster down in the Ozarks, I used to climb a big old oak tree my daddy had in the dooryard. You could see the hills for miles, green and cool. I've been thinking about that.
Why don't you go back then?
I couldn't see them hills no more now. I couldn't stand to see black when I knew they was lying all around me, cool and green in the sun. I couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to town, Hertzman. Today I made $3.50 mush, and I'm all set to drink it down before dawn. Come on!
I lost track of Riesling after that. I shipped out on a slow freight of the Condor class for Luna, and he hitchhiked to ride to Venusberg on an ore ship in the Tri-Planet run. So he beat around the system, Venusberg to Layport to Drywater to New Shanghai and back. Any spaceport was his home, and no skipper had refused to lift the extra mass of Riesling and his battered guitar. He made up his songs, sitting out watches down in the power rooms with old shipmates, while the monotonous beat of the jets shook the hull plates.
Hear the jets.
Hear the jets.
Hear them snarl at your back when you're stretched on the rack. Hear the jets. Feel the pain in your ship. Feel the strain in your grip.
Hear the jets.
Feel her rise, feel her drive, strand steel come alive on her jets.
Little by little, his songs began to travel along the spaceways ahead of him. Raw spaceman songs with titles like Since the Pusher Met My Cousin and The Spacesuit Built for Two. But more and more, we began to hear a different kind of song. Strange, sad songs, the ones you find printed in the centennial editions. Dark Star Passing, Death Song of a Woods Cove. And then, finally, The Green Hills of Earth. It grew for 20 years, that song. They say it started way back when Riesling was down in the labor camps on Venus, singing for the indentured men.
Now, if someone will kindly pass a bottle. Oh, it is not much, Riesling. Here. It'll do. What is that stuff? Tequila. You cannot make him good here on Venus. What do you use? Caracbush. Home it is different. Where are you from, son? Tasco, Mexico. That's a long way from here. See, a long way. How'd you come to sign on? The man comes out to the village from the city in a shining automobile, very big. He says there is work. You signed the paper for 10 years and you work. Yeah, work. There is work here, all right. 10 stinking hours in the jungle with machete. I tell you, when I get home to Earth... What'll you do, son? What is the use? We aren't getting home. You know how many men die out there in the swamp today? 10 men, 10! What is the use? My mother, she's dead. My father don't care. A girl? Oh, she says she wait. I don't know. Sure, son. You sing some more, Riesling. We drink, you sing. Maybe a new song, son.
We rot in the molds of Venus. We wretched her tainted breath. Foul are her flooded jungles, a-crawling with unclean death. What is the matter? Finish the song, Riesling.
I can't. Can't yet. It just don't come. I'll finish it when I go home. That's it. When I go home to the hills. Now pass that bottle. The dawn whistle don't blow for 4 hours.
That's where the Green Hills started. And I was there when it was finished. It was 20 years after that. And there wasn't a man flying or on the beach hadn't heard of Riesling and his songs. He was getting old now for a spaceman. He was a familiar figure through the whole system. Tall, gaunt, and with that dirty bandage tied across his blind eyes. I was chief jetman then on the old Falcon. We were cradled at Venus Alice Isle, scheduled for a direct jump to Great Lakes, Illinois, on Earth. I was checking in dunnage when Riesling felt his way up the gangway and came through the lock. Riesling!
Who's that?
Mike Hertzman.
Hertzman.
Well, what are you doing on this old hog?
I figured I'd ride her back to Earth.
Earth? Are you going home, Riesling? I thought you were never going to make that run.
I've been hankering to set foot in the Ozarks again.
How about those hills?
I've been singing about them so long now, Hertzman. I got to finish the song. I got to set foot in the dooryard and hear the wind through that oak tree. About the last thing I'll be doing. I got to get home before it...
Riesling, there's a new company policy in effect.
You see, Hertzman, I'm getting just a little old.
But Riesling, listen. No more deadhead rides. The new code book is in force.
Oh, I seen code books come and go.
The skipper's one of them youngsters fresh out of Harriman Institute cadet training. He's liable to throw the book at you.
At me? I've been around space as long as Halley's Comet and Brewster's Ridge. I'm going back to Earth, the cool green hills of Earth. I'm going home.
All secured, Hertzman. What are you doing here?
That's Riesling, Captain.
Riesling, huh?
I'm dragging it back to Earth, Captain.
Not in this ship. Hertzman, have this man removed.
Funny thing, Captain, I sprained my shoulder suddenly.
Look, Skipper, you're a youngster. You're pretty new out here. I'm going home. You don't know what that means to an old man, going home.
I can't take you. Against the Harriman Code.
Oh, now look, Skipper. You can slide me by under the distressed spaceman's clause in that code book.
Distressed spaceman, my eye. You've been bumming around the system for 30 years.
Skipper, you make me do something I never done for no one before. I'm an old man. An old blind man, and I want to go home. I ain't never crawled in front of a four-striper in my life, but you gotta let me drag home. The law says a man's got a trip coming to him. You can stretch for a poor old blind man, now can't you? You got it, Skipper.
All right, you old space rat. But keep out of the way. I run an efficient ship, and I don't want any trouble.
No, sir, no trouble. I'll just lay down to the power room. I kind of like to be near the jets when they blast off for Earth.
Sit down, Riesling. Take a load off your feet.
Thanks, Mac.
Stand by for lift. Stand by.
Best seat in the system. Power room and an old Hawk class ship.
Power room, fire 3.
Aye, sir.
The cool green hills of Earth.
Still singing that, Riesling?
Oh, some. I changed her a little. Gonna finish her now, Mac. Going home to finish her.
Yeah. Have you seen those new automatic dampers, Riesling? Don't have to do nothing but sit and watch.
Hey, where's the peeper?
Turned off. She's all automatic.
You have it soft nowadays. When I was twisting her tail, you had to stay awake. You got an old hand damping plates on?
All but the links. Iron shipped them. They cover up the dials.
You might need them.
No, the automatics handle everything. Well, you're finally going home, Riesling, huh? Won't seem the same out past the moon.
I've been waiting for this a long time, man. Gonna be good to get home, I reckon.
The argent sky is calling spacemen back.
Mac, you all right? I got the emergency. The hand dampers, where are the links? Mac, you gotta be on the wall here somewhere. I got him.
Power room, what's the alarm? Emergency squad coming in.
Stay out, the place is hot. Radiation blast.
Stay behind the baffle.
I got the link shift. I can hand damper now.
What's going on in there?
I'm still in Jet 3.
Is this McDougal?
McDougal is dead. This is Riesling on watch.
Riesling, get out of there. You'll kill yourself.
Don't worry, Skipper. I know this power room like the inside of my shirt. Somebody's got a damper.
Riesling, I'm sending in a crew.
No use. The whole room will be hot for an hour and the other jets won't hold. Skipper, throw on the recording tape.
What?
Throw on the recording tape. I want to get something down.
Tape's on, Riesling. Stop it, Riesling. The radiation will burn you down.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, pretty sharp sunburn. Pick me out of here with the tongs and bury me in a lead shield coffin. Okay, Skipper. She's clean. Radiation's getting brighter. I can almost see it. Bright, rosy like the sun. Like the sun over the hills down home. I got my song figured right now. Here it comes.
We pray for one last landing on the globe that gave us birth. Let us rest our eyes on the fleecy skies of the cool green hills of Earth.
I can see him now. The hills. The sun. I can see the sun.
That's the way he died. Riesling, the blind singer of the spaceways. singing of the home he never reached, the cool green hills of earth.
Next week, we bring you another story many of you have requested that we repeat. It's the strange tale of man's first visit to another planet and why he decides that Mars is heaven.
Be with us at this same time next week for another adventure into the unknown world of Dimension X.
This program was transcribed. Now, dynamic Tallulah Bankhead brings you The Big Show on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A small boy is reported missing from his home. His age, 9 years. Foul play is suspected. Your job, find him.
If you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima. Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. And that's why Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette. That's why Fatima is doubling and redoubling its smokers. So, if you want a long cigarette, smoke the best of all long cigarettes. Smoke Fatima.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 22nd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way into work, and it was 3:55 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, Joe.
Ben, what you doing?
Oh, pretty quiet. How's your mother?
Well, that cold's still hanging on. Bad cough. Doc says nothing serious.
My kid's got the same thing. Must be some kind of a virus going around.
Yeah.
Is that a new suit you got on?
Oh, yeah. Ma figured I needed one.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, that's a nice shade of blue. Where'd you get it?
Quincy's down in South Fig. Look okay?
Turn around. Oh, yeah, that's a good fit.
Did you get all the reports on the Webster case yet?
Yeah, all taken care of.
Let me get it. Homicide, Friday.
Well, this is Levinson, Unit 113J. Got something for you.
Yeah, Harry, what's doing?
Doherty and I are out here on Collis Avenue, 4656. Trying to track down a 9-year-old boy.
What's the story?
The kid's missing, suspicion of foul play.
How long has he been gone?
About 2 hours. Looks like a job for homicide.
How do you figure?
Kid was last seen playing in the backyard of his home.
Yeah?
We checked over the yard.
Find anything?
Bloodstains, lots of them. They look new.
Ben and I left a message for Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. Then we went over to the crime lab, picked up Lieutenant Lee Jones, and drove out the Arroyo Seco freeway to Collis Avenue. It was an average neighborhood. Number 4656 was a one-story green stucco residence situated on the corner of Collis Avenue and Harrison Drive. Beyond the backyard was a tract of undeveloped land covered with scrub oak. Harry Levinson from Highland Park Juvenile was waiting for us in front of the house.
Back this way, fellas. I'm coming, Lee.
Wait till I get my bag.
Okay. Who notified you that the boy was missing, Harry?
The mother said she went out to do some Christmas shopping about 11 this morning, left the boy home. She came back about 2 this afternoon. He was gone. What's the name? Johnstone. Kid's name is Stanley, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. Was this gate open like this when you got here?
Oh, yeah. I haven't touched a thing. Here are the stains over here, Lieutenant Jones, along the edge of the walk, see?
Yeah. Let me see.
Quite a few stains, huh?
Looks like it might be blood. Try some benzodine on these spots here. Yeah, there we are. See what happens.
Where's the kid's mother now, Harry? In the house. Doherty's talking to her.
Did you talk to any of the neighbors?
People next door. One's on this side. They couldn't tell us anything.
There it is, fellas.
Yali?
These spots I covered with benzodine. They're turning blue. Bloodstains, all right. Can't say definitely whether it's human or animal blood.
Mm-hmm. You have to go back to the lab to run it through?
Yeah, biological precipitin test. Hand me one of those glass vials from my bag, will you?
Yeah. Okay, here you are.
Thanks. Scrape some of these flakes off for a test. There we are.
How soon can you tap the blood for us, Lee?
Precipitin test won't run more than 20 minutes. It'll take 3 or 4 hours to run a blood grouping, though. That's it. Anything else you want to check?
Levinson, anything else?
Oh, right here, my handkerchief. Empty shell. That marker over there by the rose bush, that's where I found it.
From a 22, huh?
Yeah. Might tie in, might not.
Mark it and dump it in this envelope, will you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shell. There you go.
Did you get out a missing broadcast on the boy, Harry?
Doherty did about half hour ago. Here's a description here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mother know about the bloodstains?
No, we didn't tell her. She's worried enough already.
And she has no idea what might have happened to her boy?
No more than we do. She checked all her friends, relatives. We're covering the neighborhood. No trace so far.
Not much to go on.
Bloodstains, empty cartridge.
Could mean 100 things.
Any ideas, Franny?
Yeah, just one, and I don't like it. 4:30 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. The neighborhood search for 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone continued. Lee Jones went back to the crime lab to start the precipitant test and the blood grouping. Levinson and his partner Doherty from Highland Juvenile stood by. We called Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, and he ordered up a special detail to aid in the search for the missing boy. Ben and I questioned the boy's mother, Mrs. Ruth Johnstone, a woman in her early 40s. She seemed fairly calm under the circumstances.
Miss Johnstone, is your boy Stan in the habit of wandering off without telling you where he's going?
No, he's not in the habit of wandering off, but he has done it before.
When was the last time, Miss Johnstone?
You don't have any children, do you, Sergeant Friday?
No, I'm not married.
Well, there comes that time in every young boy's life when he feels that it's time to leave home, to go out on his own. Usually happens somewhere around 8 to 10.
I think I know what you mean. I got a boy.
Well, then you know how it is. My husband and I scolded Stanley one day after school. He was quite put out about it. He thought George and I were unfair. Packed a few of his things and left.
How long was he gone?
Oh, no time at all. About 2 hours. I was worried about him, but my husband said to leave him alone. Said every boy had to go through that stage.
Well, then you think he's run away from home again this time?
Yes, I think so. He's been gone about 4 hours now, and I have a funny feeling about it.
Did you and his father have some misunderstanding with the boy recently?
Well, that's just it. We haven't. I don't mind telling you now that we're talking about it. I am getting worried.
Any place around that he might like to visit? Hobby shop, playground, where he might be?
Yeah, there's Jensen's model shop and little Shanna Burroughs, but I've already called them, and he hasn't been seen all day. I called all his friends. They have no idea where he is either.
We'd like a list of all his friends and the places that he was known to frequent.
Oh, yeah, all right. I'll give them to you. Where do you suppose he is?
Where's your husband now, Miss Johnstone?
Oh, he's at work. George works for the city. He's a fireman.
What house is he stationed at?
Engine Company 12. He's working the A platoon. He'll be home tomorrow morning. I haven't told him that Stanley's gone.
Was there any chance that the boy might be down at the firehouse with his father?
No. No, he seldom goes down there anymore. No, I don't think he's there. I'm awfully worried. May I call my husband?
Certainly. Go right ahead.
I know George will be worried. Stanley's been gone too long. Hello? May I speak with George Johnstone? This is Mrs. Johnstone. Thank you. I hate to call George at his work.
Yes, ma'am.
Does your husband own a gun?
Yes, he does.
What caliber, do you know?
Well, it's a .45 automatic. He got it. George? This is Ruth. George, is Stanley down there with you by any chance? Oh. No, I can't find him anywhere. He hasn't been here when I came home from my shopping. There are 2 policemen here. No, I said there are 2 policemen here. Oh, no, dear. I'll call you if we don't find him soon. All right, dear. Yes, you too. Goodbye. Well, I didn't think he'd be with George.
That .45, is that the only gun in the household?
Well, yes. Why are you asking about guns? Has anything happened that you're not telling me about?
No, ma'am, just routine checking. We'll have to take a look at that .45, though, if you don't mind.
Maybe I should tell you. We do have another gun in the house, but it's all wrapped up. George bought it for Stanley's Christmas present.
May we see it, please?
Well, yes. Will you have to unwrap it?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Well, I think I can reach it. We had to hide it. So let me see. Oh, here's the paper it was wrapped in. Stanley must have found it. It's gone. See, here's the gift card and the box the gun came in. The rifle.
Can I look at that box, ma'am? Thank you.
How about it, Joe?
.22 caliber. Thursday, December 22nd, 5:15 p.m. It was getting dark. The search for the missing boy continued. We checked the list of Stanley Johnstone's friends. None of them or their parents had any idea of his whereabouts. We talked with Levinson again. He had been in touch with the detail combing the neighborhood. They had found nothing. We went down to Collis Avenue and 10th Street, service station on the corner.
1 nickel, Joe?
No, I got one. You watch for that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
City Hall.
2667, please.
2667.
Crime Lab, Jones.
Hi, Lee. Joe Friday.
Yeah, Joe. Any sign of the Johnson kid?
No, not yet. How are you coming?
Finished the precipitin test. It's human blood.
Yeah?
Working with the blood group now. Do you know what type the Johnson boy has?
Well, we didn't want to upset his mother. I thought we'd wait till the last thing. We're still in the neighborhood.
Check with the family physician. That way you won't disturb him.
Yeah, we figured on that. Oh, just a minute, Lee. Yeah, Ben.
Boss just pulled up.
Okay. Thad Brown's out here now. I'll check you later, Lee, huh?
Yeah, right, Joe.
All right, goodbye.
Gentlemen, how's it going?
Just checked with Lee Jones.
Yeah, I know. It's human blood. What do you think?
We talked with the boy's mother, Mrs. Johnstone. Found a gun missing.
Yeah.
Caliber's the same as the empty casing that Levinson found. 22.
You said the gun was missing.
Yeah, the Johnstones were going to give it to the boy as a Christmas present. They had it hidden, but it's gone now.
Any idea who took it?
Well, they left the Christmas wrapping behind. I think it was the kid.
22 rifle, huh? 9-year-old boy. When are they going to learn? First, it's carbide cannons on the 4th of July. The city issued ordinance after ordinance, but a few thousand kids around the country had to lose their eyes, fingers, hands before the parents gives us their full cooperation to outlaw them.
I know what you mean.
Sure you do. You and every other cop in the country became the heavies trying to clamp down on them. It's always the same story. This time it's guns for Christmas.
I know what you're thinking, but we're not sure yet.
Listen, Friday, there's a city ordinance against giving a gun to a kid. You know that?
Yes, I know that.
There's a missing boy and a missing gun. There's blood on the ground and an empty shell. That's enough for me.
We're going to stay with it. Something's got to break.
Yeah. I hope it's not the hearts of that kid's parents.
Oh, hi, Chief. I've been looking for you, Friday.
What do you got, Harry?
Found the gun. New .22 rifle. Strong smell of cordite. I'd say it's been recently fired.
Where'd you find it, Levinson?
Back up there in that scrub oak. Up behind the Johnston house. Mrs. Johnstone identified it. Buckley took it down to the crime lab.
Thanks, Harry. Is Miss Johnston okay?
Pretty sick now. Kilby came up with something else.
What's that?
There's another one missing. An 8-year-old boy.
6:30 p.m. We talked with Officer Kilby about the other missing boy. He told us that his name was Stephen Moorheim, 8 years old. His family had just moved into the neighborhood, and it seemed that no one besides the Moorheim family knew that the boys played together. Mrs. Moorheim told us that Stephen told her that he was going out to play and that he'd be home by 6 o'clock for dinner. She told us that he was an unusually prompt boy and almost never overstayed his playtime. We got a description of the Moorheim boy and put out a missing broadcast. We called the Johnstones' family doctor. He told us that Stanley's blood was type O. At 7 p.m., we talked again with Mrs. John Moorheim.
Are you sure Mrs. Johnstone doesn't know where the boys are?
She has no idea, Miss Moorheim.
It's terrible. It's just awful. I feel there's more to this thing. Something you're not telling me.
Well, there's no use to upset you until we know a few things for sure.
Then you are holding back something.
Now, please try not to worry, Miss Moorheim. There are certain questions we'll have to ask, routine questions in any kind of investigation.
Is there anything else you want to know?
Yes, ma'am. What is your boy's blood type?
That's a funny question. Do you think anything's happened to him? Have you found him and you're not telling me?
No, ma'am, we haven't found him. We don't think anything's happened to him.
His blood type.
Yes, ma'am.
I think I have it written down in Stevie's baby book. Yes, here it is. Type O.
Thank you. Wonder if I might use your phone, please?
Yes, of course. It's in the hall.
Be right back, then.
Yeah, okay.
City Hall.
2667, please.
2667.
Crime Lab, Pinker.
Hello, Ray. This is Friday. Lee there?
Just a minute, Joe. Take two, Lee. John speaking.
Checking back, Lee.
Did you get the blood types on the two missing boys?
Yeah, both boys type O.
So are the stains, Joe. Type O.
You are listening to Dragnet for the solution to an actual case from official police files. Now, here's a real solution to many of your Christmas shopping problems.
If your friends smoke a long cigarette, give the best of long cigarettes, Fatima.
Give Fatima for quality.
The name Fatima has always stood for the best in cigarette quality.
Give Fatima for flavor.
Fatima has a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Give Fatima. They're extra mild.
Yes, Fatima is the long cigarette which contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended to make Fatima extra mild. Yes, extra mild.
So give Fatima for Christmas in the attractive golden yellow carton.
It's the long cigarette that has doubled and redoubled its smokers. Yes, more and more smokers every day agree Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes.
8 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. Still no sign of either of the missing boys. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown went back to headquarters to direct the search from there. He dispatched another detail of 50 men to aid in the hunt for the missing youngsters. 8:30 p.m. It was getting colder. The citrus growers were warned to expect a freeze. We went up the block to see Mrs. Johnstone. Her husband had quit work early and returned home. We talked with him. He could tell us nothing more than we already knew. We still had not informed either of the families about the bloodstains and the empty cartridge casing which had been discovered in the backyard of the Johnstone home. It was more than possible that they had a right to know about our findings, but Ben and I felt that there was no cause to add to the distress of the two families at this time. If the two missing boys were found alive and well, then the bloodstains in the cartridge case would be of no concern to the relieved parents. At 8:40 p.m., Ben and I left the Johnstone house and went to the home of Mr. and Mrs. John Moorheim.
Miss Moorheim, you said your husband worked at a market?
Yes. He telephoned about 15 minutes ago and said he was closing up right away. He'll be here any minute. I do wish Stevie would call or come home. It's so cold out tonight. All he had on was a thin cotton jacket.
Please try not to worry. We're doing everything we can. It's going to be all right.
Stevie's father's such a sensitive man. He and the boy are so close. I know he's terribly upset.
No, you're sure there's no place you might have forgotten? Someplace where the boy might be?
No place. No. If anything happened to the boy, it'll just kill John.
No.
You sit still. I'll get it, Miss Moorheim.
Joe?
Hi, Harry.
The Johnstone kid. He's been found.
Oh, he's home, Sergeant. He's come home. Thank God he's all right.
Where's he been? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't. His clothes were all dirty, and he's acting strange. I've never seen him like this.
How do you mean, Miss Johnson?
Well, he just came in the front door and said, "Hello, Mom," and then he sat down in a chair and stared at the floor. He won't talk to his father or me.
Do you mind if I talk to him?
No, go ahead. I asked him about the little Moorheim boy, and he wouldn't tell me a thing.
Where is he now?
In the living room.
Looks all right.
Yes. Son, this is a police officer. He wants to talk to you. Now, don't be afraid, dear. He only wants to ask you some questions. Son. You see, Sergeant?
Stanley, come on, look at me, son. Get your head up, youngster. Come on, now that's better. Had your mother pretty worried, you know that? You want to tell us where you've been?
I wish you'd try to get him to eat a little something.
Do you hear that, son? Want something to eat? Stanley, there's another little boy up the street who hasn't come home. Do you know where he is? His father and mother are worried about him, too, just like your folks were. You've got to help us find him, son.
I killed him. I killed Steve with the .22. We were only playing. But I killed him.
How do you know you killed him? Maybe he's only hurt. Now, isn't that it?
No, he's dead. I know he's dead. The gun went off. We forgot we put bullets in there.
Where is he, Stanley?
I hid him. I was scared. I didn't want anybody to find him.
Where did you hide him, son?
In a cave up on the hill. I didn't mean it. It was my pal.
You want to show us where, son?
Yes, I'll show you. Please don't send me to jail.
9:15 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone led the way up the hill behind the backyard of his home. He showed us the wagon he moved the body in. His father came along with us. About 50 feet from the crest of the hill, the boy pointed to a thicket of scrub oak. There we found a small cave holding the body of Stephen Morheim. There was a single bullet wound in his chest just below his heart. He was dead. We covered the body.
Stanley, how did it happen?
I knew my folks were going to give me the gun for Christmas. I knew where it was, and I got it. There was a box of bullets with it.
Were you pointing the gun at Stephen?
No, sir. No, sir, I wasn't. It was Steve's turn to play with it. I was chasing him. He tripped over the stump there in our backyard and fell. The gun hit him in the stomach, and it went off.
Why do you think you killed him if you're telling us the truth?
I'm telling the truth, honest. That's the truth.
All right, I believe you, son, but why do you think you killed him?
It was my gun. Steve would still be alive if I didn't go and get it. I should have waited till Christmas. It's all my fault.
Where have you been all this time?
In the cave with Steve.
What were you doing in there, son?
I was praying. I was praying for God to make him alive again.
After a thorough investigation, Ben and I were convinced that the shooting of Stephen Morheim was accidental. Lieutenant Lee Jones' findings substantiated the Johnstone boy's story even to the smallest detail. We put in a call to the coroner's office and acquainted him with the facts. He designated a local mortuary to handle the body pending autopsy and granted us permission to remove the body to the Morheim home. Mrs. Morheim collapsed. The family doctor was called. Ben and I sat in the living room to wait for John Morheim, the dead boy's father.
Edith! Edith!
Mr. Morheim?
Yes. You the police?
Yes, sir.
Where's Edith? Where's my wife? Has my boy come home? Have you found him?
Yes, sir.
Oh, where is he? Steve! Stevie! Where's Steve? He's hurt, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
Oh, where is he? I want to see him.
He's hurt bad, Mr. Morheim.
Oh, where is he? I want to see him.
He's in his room.
How bad?
Pretty bad.
He's dead. All right, if I go in.
If you want to.
Will you go with me?
Sure. Don't make it any harder on yourself, Mr. Morheim.
I want to see my boy. Stevie.
Mr. Morheim.
Stevie. Listen to me, son. We've got you a lot of nice things for Christmas. Everything you wanted. I got you the 3 new cars for the train. The one with the searchlight is really works. Son, you got that new switch you wanted to, and a lot more track. Oh,
can have a big payout. You know that new baseball mitt you saw? Well, I got it for you. That cowboy outfit you wanted, I got that too.
Mr. Moorheim. Come on, Joe.
What happened?
It was an accident. He was playing with the Johnstone boy up the street. Playing with a gun. It went off.
What was the other boy's name?
Stanley Johnston. It was an accident.
Mr. Moorheim, where are you going?
I want to see that boy.
We had no idea what the dead boy's father had in mind. We didn't feel that we should try to restrain him. We went along with him up the street to the Johnstone home.
I'm Stevie's father. Where's your boy?
I'm sorry.
Where's your boy?
He's right here. Won't you come in?
It's all right, Mrs. Johnstone.
You the boy that was with Stevie?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Stanley.
Stanley. I know it wasn't your fault, Stanley. I wonder if you'd do something for me.
Yes, sir.
I've got a lot of nice presents for Stevie. I know he'd want you to have them. I want to give them to you. Christmas Eve.
Mom?
I think that would be a fine idea, son.
Come on, Ben.
Well, what does it all prove, Joe?
You don't give a kid a gun for Christmas.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 24th, 1948, a coroner's inquest was held in the county morgue, city and county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that inquest.
Now, here are authentic reports from all over the country that tell the story of Fatima's sensational increase in popularity. New York Division.
Fatima sales up 132%.
Chicago Division.
Fatima sales up 453%.
Los Angeles Division.
Fatima sales up 545%.
More and more smokers agree Fatima is the best of all long cigarettes. So enjoy Fatima yourself and give extra mild Fatimas for Christmas in the attractive golden yellow carton. Everyone who smokes Fatima says that this great new long cigarette is the best of all long cigarettes.
At the coroner's inquest, it was officially recorded that Stephen Moorheim's death was the result of an accident. Stanley Johnstone, age 9, was absolved of any legal responsibility for his friend's death. You have just heard Dragnet, a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Acting Chief of Police W.A. Wharton, Los Angeles Police Department.
Dragnet honors Hennepin County, Minneapolis, state of Minnesota, and the men of the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, another of America's great law enforcement agencies. One of these men, Sheriff Ed Ryan, veteran police officer and department administrator, who dedicates his life to making yours more secure.
Fatima Cigarettes, the best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portion transcribed from Los Angeles.
Be sure to hear songs by Morton Downey tonight on NBC.